surrender, no trigger, fingers go, living the dangerous life. Shot like a rocket up into the sky, nothing can stop me tonight. You make me feel invincible, earthquake powerful, just like a tidal wave. You make me brave, you're my titanium fight song, raising up like the roar of victory in a stadium. Who can touch me, 'cause I'm, who can stop me tonight? You make me feel invincible. I feel it, invincible. I feel it, invincible.
Today, one of the greatest careers in Beaconville history comes to a close. It's Senior Day from Clark Athletic Center Ice Arena, but it should be renamed Larkin Day, for Colin is the only senior on Peter Belisle's roster, and one can think of no greater beacon worth honoring than the Star Center this afternoon. It's the Southern Maine Huskies and the UMass Boston Beacons, right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Good afternoon, friends, and welcome to the BBN. Along with Matt Meisenbacher, I'm John Skudras. Heading today's final game of the regular season, we know where the Beacons will sit come the conference tournament. However, today, at least in the pregame, it's about Colin Larkin. And Mr. Meisenbacher, what a career Colin has had in Beacons Blue.
Yeah, really the epitome of consistency. You know, I look at his stats, and you take a look at what he's been able to do in terms of game played and points. We'll run through it real quick. So freshman year, 27 games played, 27 points. He's a point per game guy as a freshman. Pretty impressive. Sophomore year, it goes up. 31 games played, 36 points. His junior year, 26 games, 39 points. He dealt with a little bit of an injury that year as well. Was still able to put up 39. And then this year, 24 games played. He's going to have his 25th today with 40 points. Very, very impressive. And I'll tell you what, you think about the sophomore year, his sophomore year, what this team was able to do, go to the Frozen Four. It's going to be with Colin Larkin Day. It really, seniors, you can just name it Colin Larkin Day. He came in as a freshman and really has kept a torn pace for 4 years here.
So for Colin Larkin, his final regular season game here in Beacons Blue, do you expect perhaps an encore performance for Mr. Larkin today?
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing well. He had 2 assists last night. That top line looked good again. They got the game-winning goal on Redler's fluky fluttering puck that ended up going over Shapiro's pad. But, you can't – he's the type of player where you come into the game and it really isn't a matter of can we stop him, it's can we contain him. You try to limit what you can do. And you saw yesterday, to be honest with you, NEC did a pretty good job. They kept him outside, kept him to the perimeter. But you have to, if you're going to, focus on him, you got to give somewhere, and it opened up a lot more opportunity for Bross and Redler. They were able to capitalize. So I'd expect more of that today. We're looking at a Southern Maine team that came in here not that long ago and upset this team. That was their last win. They've gone on an 8-game skid since, and they're playing for 6th place. So a lot to be had for that team, and we'll keep an eye on what those players are able to do today.
As you said, last night UMass, buoyed by 2 Larkin assists, scored 3 unanswered third-period goals to trip up NEC 4-2. They've now cemented themselves into the 4th spot in the conference standings, and therefore will garner that seed in the NEHC Tournament. Now, Matt, prior to that game, prior to really the last week, the Beacons went into a bit of a swoon there through January and early February, struggled a bit against teams, including Southern Maine, that on paper are inferior than them. What do you expect out of this Beacons team heading into the conference tournament? Yeah,
last night was big. I think a team that was treading water a little bit, headed in the wrong direction. They had lost, 6 out of the last 7, had a pretty big win against Castleton, but it dropped a lot of the other games that they had played. And so last night, which really, it really came down to a bounce there, John. And I was doing the broadcast with Seth. For those that weren't able to tune in, it was a tie game in the 3rd period. The Pilgrims were on a breakaway, ended up putting one off the post. That puck goes in, and we're probably telling a different story today. There, soon after they rang one up, Beacons came down and scored on the Redler goal, added an empty net. So that's hockey for you, right? Sometimes you get the bounce, sometimes you don't. And so you hope that this team is able to, build off that and come into today honoring one of their best players to walk out with a 4-point weekend heading into conference play.
Whatever your confidence is in the Beacons going forward, you should have a bit of confidence in them today. UMass's opponent, despite beating the Beacons last time out, have really been struggling this year and are wrapping up another disappointing season from the North. At 3-17, the Huskies are averaging less than 1.5 goals per game and have already wrapped up a winless home schedule, finishing 0-9-4 in front of their home fans. Meanwhile, they've lost 8 in a row and have been outscored 29-7 over that stretch. For a Southern Maine team that hasn't won since they were here, does that maybe give them a little confidence that they can snap that snide down at their back?
Yeah, no question about it. You've got a coaching staff and probably some seniors in there that are reminding the team of that fact that, hey, this is the team we were able to beat not that long ago. And, again, that was on Alumni Weekend. So a little bit some parallels there, right? You got the upset on Alumni Weekend. Now here you have Senior Weekend. And you think about that as a Huskies team, they're still jockeying. They can really do. There's a lot of movement to be had. I think the Beacons are the only team that has things secure. They're in the 4 spot. Other than that, teams are going to be moving. We've got Hobart, who nobody thought was going to be able to take. No one was going to take down Norwich with a massive upset today. Norwich can actually fall out of that 1 seed. So a lot of jockeying still to be had in the conference. And a Southern Maine team, I think, that would much rather be the 6th seed versus one of the lower seeds having to play one of those top 2 teams.
It's the Southern Maine Huskies and the UMass Boston Beacons. Up next here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. And as we take a look on the year statistics, you look there, Matt, it's not pretty to pull you over. 4.42 goals per game for the Beacons, just 1.46 for Southern Maine. The goal production for the Huskies, dismal. And you look at their power play, 11.4% compared to 25.8 for the Beacons. So if the Beacons can get to the power play, force the Huskies into mistakes, they should be able to take advantage.
Yeah, and you think back to, the way this game went the last time, and Southern Maine, it was a recipe that we talked about in the pregame, and I'm going to mention it here again. This is a team that's going to try to hang around. They're going to try to hold on as long as they can. If you remember the way they beat them last time, they kept it close throughout the game and were able to score late and walk out of here. You would kind of escape with a win. A team this young, a majority of the team is sophomores and freshmen. That's how you beat a team like these Beacons. You hang around, you play solid defense, try to take away their speed, have a physical presence, rely on your goaltender. If you can do all those things, you can hang it, make it a 20-minute game in the third period, and you try to get one from there. But the recipe for the Beacons is going to be trying to get that early lead and putting this team away quickly.
Look at the individual leaders for these squads. Larkin and Redler leading the way with 20 goals apiece. By comparison, Parker Sanderson, a junior from Bangor, Maine, leads Southern Maine in goals with 6.
Yeah.
Brendan Murphy leads them in points with 11. So the Beacons have multiple players who with 20 goals compared to the team leader in 6 for Southern Maine. We've seen this story before, though, and when you go up against a goalie that could get hot, you might be in some trouble for the Beacons. As we've seen, they've outshot teams 4 or 5 to 1 and only won by 1 or 2 goals as the teams are heading onto the ice. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we will have Colin Larkin as our player to watch and the lone senior here on Senior Day. But for now, let's take a look at highlights of the Beacons' victory yesterday, a 4-2 triumph over New England College.
This is something you call a groundbreaker. So let me just apologize for respecting the time from lawmaking. Cause I'll make you out again. As soon as the drugs spread on the rampage. But it's not enough before you know it will. There's never enough.
welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. John Skudras with Matt Meisenbacher, and they just celebrated Colin Larkin. He was with his family in front of the Beacons bench, and what a career for Colin here, wrapping up his regular season schedule today. You can't really say enough about him. We've already explained how integral he was in his 4 years. You look there, playing in his program record, 109th career game, 4th in program history with 142 career points. I mean, you talk about reaching 100 points. Peter McIntyre did it. He got to 106, and we thought he was one of the best. Frankie DeAugustine, 142. That's unrivaled by Maine.
Incredible. Yeah, pretty incredible. You know, and the funny thing is, John, I think a lot of times I talk a lot about on senior day, I talk about kind of the culmination of your career. A lot of guys, that's the end of the road, right? You've got a few games left, and that's really it. Your men's league from there. With Larkin, probably a little bit of a different story. You know, there's some rumors going around that he might have an opportunity to play some minor hockey after he's done here with the Beacons. So, you know, it's yet to be determined, but I don't think this is the end of the road for him.
Well, we would hope it isn't, as you take a look.
Did we get the Redler?
Yeah, Nolan Redler
all year with that. That's his presence, man.
He is a hoot as the Beacons starters are introduced. Typical faces out there for the top line of Colin Larkin, Zach Bross, and Nolan Redler. Excellent job, Alyssa. Gabe Chukrin and Nick Albano on the blue line, and Bailey McBurney between the pipes, his 22nd start of the year. And when we came into the year, we really weren't sure what to expect. Looking back, we thought we had 3 starting potential goalies. Jordan Buster played 18 games last year. He and D'Urso, who were competing with Bailey in the preseason, only played 6 games. Bailey really took it by storm. We'll have more on him after the national anthem. But for now, we'll give you Southern Maine starters, and we'll pause for the Star Spangled Banner. It is the UMass Boston Beacons and the Southern Maine Huskies. Up next here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network, and piggybacking off what I was just saying, Matt, Bailey McBurney. He's had his moments this year. He's been a solid starter, but we weren't sure what to expect from him coming into the year, and he's really taken that starting role by the horns.
Yeah, career high in saves last night, which is pretty incredible. 40 for him last night, and he's been the backstop for the Beacons all year. You know, like you said, there was definitely a 3-way competition coming in, but it's been the Bailey McBurney show for the majority of the season. I mean, he got his start, I think, the second game of the year after D'Urso really played well in his first game, and really hasn't looked back. It's been all McBurney since then. Dealing, it seems like we saw a little bit during warm-ups there. Not sure we got on the screen, but dealing with a stick issue, and actually it looks like he's had to switch sticks with McBurney, or Bustard rather. McBurney's had to switch. He's using Bustard's stick right now, which is a little bit interesting. You know, goaltenders are very finicky. Similar to pitchers, they like things a certain way. They like their routines. It doesn't seem to be bothering him, but something to keep an eye on. And I'll tell you what, folks, I had a particular stick. I like the way, you know, the weight, the feel, the kind of the lie, the curve. Throw me a little bit. Using another guy's stick, it just feels different tape job. It's a little different, but we'll have to keep an eye on that as the game goes on.
Yeah, you goalies certainly are weird breeds.
Bunch, man.
There's no doubt about it. Beacons lose the opening face-off, immediately force a turnover as Bross backhands it to his blue line partner, Albano. And now here's Nick. Nice look to try to get it to Redler. Unable to clear with Southern Maine as Beacons trying to move forward offensively. That was Maverick Lyons that forced the turnover, and skating up Patrick Magliano, a senior from Pelham, New Hampshire. Magliano drops it back for Norman. Brett drops it back to the blue line, looking to connect there with Magliano, but instead it's poked out by UMass Boston, and who else but Colin Larkin. On senior day, moving the Beacons into the scoring zone. There's Bros, and a good save with the waffle board by Delosio.
Tough first stop there. Great save off the blocker.
Colin gets it poked away. Good effort there by the defenseman Jonathan Bartuccio Pereiro. The Beacons 1 minute into this one, trying to stretch their legs early as moving forward with possession. John Bono backhanded sticked away by Anthony Delosio, a freshman from Frisco, Texas, the hometown of Super Bowl hero Nick Foles, Frisco, Texas.
Didn't know that.
Absolutely. He and Drew Brees, as there's Bono firing that one, looking for a deflection in front from Sifferlin. That one wide. Behind the net now, Cody Wickline. Wickline dumped into the corner. Good aggressive defensive action by Tristan Dundas. There's a high-rising shot from the slot by Knackbauer that sails up into the netting.
Two good shifts there to start the game for the Beacons. You can see coming out with a lot of energy, which is typical on senior night, but the top two lines with a shift under their belt already, and already two scoring opportunities, one of which ended up on net. So good start to the game if you're the Beacons, and going to need more of that as the game continues.
Starting goalies for this one, Anthony Delosio, the native of Frisco for Southern Maine. Freshman has a 305 GAA coming in as that backhander is through the net mouth from Santa Pass. Trying to take a whack at it was McGregor, but it sailed wide. And then Jack Riley fires this one wide on the short side, cut in and kept in the zone smartly by Helt. His shot was gloved away by Delosio, who stands at just 5'11", 180, so one of the shorter goalies in the conference. As coming forward and sending that in for a line change was Matthew. Evan Helt behind the net, connecting with Riley, tried to go one touch for McGregor. Luckily, no Southern Maine Husky was there to intercept it. Nice move by Riley to get into the attacking zone. Jack's been in and out of the lineup over the last couple of weeks, but he's firmly planted on the right wing of McGregor as this one comes down for icing. The Beacons right now look to send out the yellow line perhaps.
And, you know, you're talking about Riley, a guy who's dealing with some injuries. It's always tough. You know, very rarely, especially in season, do you have enough time to really heal completely. And I'm sure he would probably not admit it, but, you know, some of that injury still lingering, you know, still dealing with a little bit of leftover and probably a little bit of rust as well. Missed 5 games, so still finding his way.
Dumped in and chased by Sasha Makarov, a native of Indian Trail, North Carolina. As that one sent in wide of the net, the Huskies had to go for a line change. The Beacons can reconfigure from their own zone as Chakran's long stretch feed intending for Holidays off the mark. Delosio has to come out and backhand it away from Justin. Beacons keep it in. Gabe Chakran's slapper is denied as it's blocked down. John Regnart recovers the puck. Skates in. Far side dot. Fires. Good save with the leg by Delosio as it comes into the corner. Poked and then eventually cleared by the Huskies.
John, this line was great yesterday. This fourth line really provided a lot of energy for this Beacons team. And I'll tell you what, talking to them a little bit before the pregame, they were feeling that as well. They're looking to carry over into this game.
From the corner with possession, sending it back to the point is Redler. He then gets crushed into the boards. The ref didn't see it as he went face first into the glass. He's okay, though, but he's heading to the bench maybe.
Resilient kid, but I saw it, John. That was very much behind the play. Behind the ref, didn't see it. Should have been a penalty.
Bross comes right through the D into the slot, then loses possession. Redler stays out there and then gives a little piece of his own medicine back to Johnny Kite, who sent him into the boards moments ago. There's a slapper from Albano, saved, sent wide. Another chance for the Beacons as Bono sends this one off the goalie's pads and wide. Beacons continuing the pressure early as Nick Albano absolutely punishes Mark Tomaszek, sending him to the ice.
All Beacons right now, a ton of momentum. They're really stockpiling their shifts and getting this puck in deep, causing a lot of pressure on this Huskies defense.
Colin Larkin from the corner loses possession, and then this one's cleared down by Kite. And at the red line, skating after it, Tyler Matthew. Matthew gets a little ahead of the forward and is offsides as Brendan Murphy had beat him into the zone.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we're almost close to 5 minutes into this game, and I think Coach Blau recognizing he's got all 4 lines rolling pretty good here. That's the first time I've seen this early in the game. I think 2 or 3 pretty big hits there. Redler got back into the play, made a bit, and then Albano with a huge one at the blue line. Some early action here in this game.
Right into the eye level of Bailey McBurney on a shot there from Bartuccio Pereira. And at 15:38, a face-off to Bailey's right. Beacons will keep the same lines out there. That's the Knackbauer, Wick line, Sifferlin line. Blue liners being Carter and Bono, as face-off is won smartly by Matthew. Trying to keep it in the zone there was Bartuccio Pereira, but gloved down by Carter, and here come the Beacons. Nice look from Knackbauer, trying to connect with Wickline. Backhanded right to Daniel, tries to lift it up, and over the goalie Delosio, but just wide.
Some quick hands there by Knackbauer. That didn't miss by much.
Here's Parker Sanderson, the team leader in goals with 6. He got tripped up a little bit. That allows the Beacons and Tyler Sifferlin to corral possession. 5 minutes into this one, good look for Wickline. Wickline trying to go to Daniel Knackbauer. It's kicked away from him by the right skate of Tristan Dundas. And the Beacons, after a Husky clear, will gain possession. Evan Heltz sends it to neutral territory where it's sent all the way back in by Dundas. Beacons will chase after it. Evan will go D to D, connecting there with Gallagher. Garrett taken into the boards, connecting with Wickline, who tried to tip it past. It stays in the zone. Good save by McBurney with bodies in front.
Yeah, it might have been a partial screen there as well, John. Good stop by McBurney.
Looking for Sifferlin was Wickline. Tyler was taken away from the puck there by Brendan Plord. And now breaking out. This one sent out to the red line where it is taken in by Gallagher. Beacons and the Huskies getting some fresh legs as Garrett sends it deep, takes a high stick, no call. Behind the net, poke check by Wickline. Larkin, or rather Sanapass, laying the lumber behind the net. And then losing an edge at neutral ice and almost going down there was Magliano. He'll just have to send it deep and chase.
Blue line got him.
The invisible wire as the Beacons have possession. McGregor tied up a little bit from the red line, swatted at by Sanapass. Sanapass unable to get possession. Now behind the net, Maverick Lines, a native of Sherwood Park, Alberta, as that one is moved forward and intercepted by Helt. Beacons doing a good job limiting the opportunities in their own zone here early. Dominating the shot total as this one skitters past Gabe Chukrin. A lot of speed behind him from Jerome Witkowski, native of Kittery, Maine. But the Beacons able to hold him off as Regnart drops it back for Albano. D to D with Chukrin, gaining possession. Beacons just trying to get it out of their zone, and now they do, and John couldn't catch up to it. But Albano can. Nick sees that puck dislodged from him and now taken over by the Huskies. With 13:15 to go, first period action.
So a lot of running around here. We haven't had a lot of whistles. It's been maybe 1-2 to start this game. Been a lot of action to start here. And you can see, Southern Maine doing a pretty good job. It looks like we're going to get an icing here, but Southern Maine doing a pretty good job. A lot of times you play a team like the Beacons, and their speed can cause a lot of havoc in the what would be the defensive zone for the Huskies. You blow a lot of assignments, and guys get open. But I'll tell you what, once they're in the zone, the Huskies do a really good job of coverage. They really don't miss an assignment very often. Very rarely do you see a player that's out of position. I'll tell you, and they gave this team fits last game. Beacons didn't really have an answer for it. A lot of shots from distance. Had a tough time getting those screen opportunities, some of those redirects, and it looks like we're in store for the same thing here today. I think definitely dominated by the Beacons thus far, but Southern Maine's done a fairly decent job in terms of, and we got too many Huskies on the ice, clearly. Someone's got to go. But no, the Huskies have done a good job in their D-zone coverage.
Heading off the ice is Sanderson, their leading scorer. They had 6 men, not including the goalie. As there's Redler sending it in front, a chance. Trying to get possession, getting taken down was Bross. He sends it into the corner. Larkin gets possession in the corner, trying to fight away from a stick check of Norman. And then eventually the Beacons do lose possession. As taking it in there is Bartuccio Pereira. He'll clear it all the way down. Good pass. He's able to connect on the backhand from Magliano. Fisted away with the waffle board of Bailey McBurney. And the Beacons now get possession and break out as Bross overskates it. And the defense will have to stay in their own zone, as with it is Norman. Taken into the corner. Pantalone can't get possession. Larkin fists it forward to Redler. Backhand feed nowhere near Zach Bross. So this shift not their finest for this top line.
Yeah, a couple miscues there, a couple bad passes, and resulting in some more possession time for this Huskies team.
Sanderson cut off by Bono. John backhander towards Redler, who backhands it out of the zone. Moving forward with possession, Bross fires it through the net mouth and wide. Cutting off the defender is Sifferlin, gets it deep for Knackbauer. Knackbauer finds Tyler. Tyler puts on the brakes, looking for help, reverts and pivots back the other way to the point. Gallagher shot through the net mouth, wide of the net, and then Evan Help fires it in. It's blocked down in front by the stick of Sifferlin. And, that was actually Bross, who's still out there with this second line as he hasn't been able to change. Bross will poke it, and now he's going to get possession. So fast is Bross, backhander, good save by Delosio. Another try inside, they score! Garrett Gallagher off the rebound from the Bross attempt. He fires it top shelf over the blocker of Delosio, and UMass Boston leads it 1-0.
Did we get the celly? Please tell me we got the celly. That was unbelievable. He didn't know it went in. We got to get that. If we have that, we got to get that back. I'll tell you what, great play. You mentioned it. Bross with the initial play. He was at the end of his shift, and I'll tell you what, that's that freshman energy. Still had a lot going there early in the game. Was able to get a backhand on net. That puck came out back to the blue line out the other side, and Gallagher just stepped into one. Might have been tipped. I don't know. Might have been tipped, but right now I think that's going to be Gallagher's goal. And, folks, I don't think he even knew it went in. Based on his celly, he just slammed his stick. I think he thought he might have missed, and then he saw the reaction of his teammates. 1-0 Beacons.
Huskies coming the other way as Murphy shot from the Matthew passes off the mark, and a 2-on-1 the other way. Sifferlin with Wickline. Sifferlin shot, save, rebound, they score! Cody Wickline on the rebound, and just like that, tic-tac-toe, 2 for the price of 1. It's 2-zip, UMass Boston.
That's a play they practice right there. You saw it on the 2-on-1. That's what they call pass-off pad there, John. They practice it at least once a week, sometimes 2 or 3 times. Coach Blau will run this all the time in practice. You come down the weak side, or the strong side rather, able to throw that off the pad, and you're just looking to bank it off the goalie essentially. You've got a winger coming down in the middle or off the weak side, and you just try to put it off his pad, create a little bit of a pass for your winger there. Was able to tuck it home. A great play, Sifferlin to Wickline, and just like that, 2-0 Beacons.
And just like that, the timeout burned less than 9 minutes into the game by Southern Maine.
And you know what that is? That's scouting. That's scouting from the coaching staff of Southern Maine. They understand that this Beacons team, we've seen it all year, John, when they get going and they start stacking their lines like that, they start running with speed, and next thing you know, the game's over by the first period. You know, everyone will tell you can't win a game in the first, but you can lose it. And I think that's a great call from the coaching staff of the Huskies here. Take a timeout, let some of this steam out of this arena right now, and regroup a little bit before this thing gets out of hand too much. Still plenty of time in this game, plenty of time in this period, still 11 minutes, but all of a sudden a quick 2-0 lead for these Beacons. And you can tell confidence is at a high. They got a lot of speed, and judging by some of the hand motions from Coach Blyle here, it seems to be indicating, hey, let's keep it rolling here. They've got a lot of good things going for their team right now.
Ed Harding in his 4th year as the head coach of Southern Maine. His team's gone through a tough campaign, 3-17 with 4 ties, 3-11 with 3 ties in the NEHC, and they're off to a inauspicious beginning here this afternoon. It's 2-0.
It's a big shift here for both teams, John. Both Southern Maine and Beacons have a lot of momentum. Obviously, they want to keep it going. This puck goes out of play. Beacons want to keep rolling here, and they've got blood in the water, but if you're a Huskies team, you really need a good shift here and get things back to an even pace.
Beacons had dominated through the first 9 minutes, and they were stonewalled by Delosio, and then that seeing eye goal from the point by Gallagher. And then shortly thereafter, a 2-on-1. Sifferlin took the shot. A good save by Delosio, but the rebound control sent it right to Wickline, and then losing an edge in his own zone. What's with the ice right now? And then a whistle and a break as this puck was offsides because losing an edge there was Bono, and it almost led to a breakaway.
Yeah, John Bon Jovi's got to check his skates here a little bit there. Caught an edge. Might have just clipped it a little bit weird.
Wonder if the fact that it's a little warmer out than it's been over the last 5 months or so has something to do with it. It's definitely
it is a little warmer today. That's a good point, John. I didn't think of that. It is a little warmer here in Boston, and this rink is very susceptible to that. I remember playing and practicing here, and the elements outside definitely play a role on this ice. That's a great point.
You see it all the time in the upper levels for teams in Florida and other places in the South. Sometimes the ice can be finicky. That shot is denied by McBurney on a blast from Norman. Good save by Bailey.
Second time there's been a rebound from McBurney, but you see the forwards getting back for the Beacons, clearing it out right away. That's great. The back check, it's one thing to get back and get in position, but you got to read the play. If there's a rebound there, you're expecting your forwards or your D to try and clear it.
Exactly what you're looking for. It's exactly what got the Beacons their first 2 goals of this game was good scoring plays off rebounds, as that one's tipped in by Ragnarts to no icing as John takes the defender right into the boards. That was Padgham.
He loves to hit, doesn't he? I love watching Regs play. Guy flies around now that he's a forward. Much more. You see another hit there. 2 for 1 still at the blue line. Throwing his weight. Love to see it.
Right into Michael Washington, a senior from Denver, Colorado. And Washington at 6'4", 220. He's somebody who can take those hits from Regnar.
Yeah, Regsel has no problem. You can see it. A little bit of John there. You can see the two players talking about it a little bit. Hey, nice hit there, buddy. And, Regs, what a story, too, right? We've talked a lot about how he's transitioned from D to forward. And, I think he's just owned the moment, owned the opportunity to stay in the lineup. Very difficult thing to do when you're playing one position like defense. You're skating backwards the whole time. Now you got to play forward. You got to know where your position is at all times, both in all zones. And, I'll tell you, he's done a great job finding a way to get it done. He's been productive. Scored his first goal as a forward.
From his own corner, and then Gabe Chukrin sends Jerome Witkowski to the ice like a rag doll in the corner.
Huge hit. Beacons are feeling themselves right now.
From center ice, Chukrin got his stick lifted, then absorbs a hit. It's the save made by Delosio, and then he had to cover it up with Zach Bross streaming through, or rather Wickline streaming through like a screaming bullet and sleeping over the Southern Maine netminder.
Yeah, it's funny. The goaltenders, you got to have a certain confidence to play the puck. You've got to be pretty sure the players are coming right at you. And you can see there, Delosio second guessing, thought he was going to play it, ended up just diving on top of it when he didn't have an option. And Bross was the one who ended up feeling most of that as he got clipped, ended up in the corner.
Good grief, as the Beacons try to win the offensive zone face-off out there with that second line. And one towards Wickline. He then pokes it from the end boards towards Knackbauer. Kareens out in front, but it's sent out towards the blue line, and waving at it and missing there with the left hand was Sanderson, and now offsides, I believe, is the call.
Yeah,
not sure that puck made its way out. Now Bano's arguing, but he's not going to win.
They're going to talk. I think while it was up in the air, it might have crossed over, and that's what it put the offsides into effect. But Beacons tried to sell it pretty good there. I think they would have they had a pretty good case. I like the acting job there.
It was close, no doubt about it. UMass Boston leading 2-0, more than halfway through the first period here from Clark Athletic Center Ice Arena, as that one is deflected up into the stands. Couple of lucky souvenirs for the fans here on Senior Day.
Well, I'll tell you what, Seth, you got to make more of an effort there, buddy. You got to come on. You could have extended there a little bit. You got to make a little bit of an effort. I don't know. What do you think, John? He was close. He's trying to tell me that it was out of reach. I don't know. Might have at least make an effort there.
No Dave Wahlberg. He's over at basketball. I'm glad Seth didn't make an effort. Maybe tumble down.
You never know.
We already are shorthanded here on the BBN, so we couldn't do without Seth as well. Besides, we need some sort of great statistical insight at some point.
That's true. We need another town that has 2 Super Bowl winners.
Yeah, we need to know, Cody Wickline scoring goals, Garrett Gallagher. When's the last time that two guys from the same class scored within 30 seconds of each other on Senior Day?
I'm sure he knows it, too.
Jack Riley with possession. Backhands it all the way in. It'll careen off the end board, and Delosio will backhand it to his offensive line mate, taken in by Sanderson. Sanderson stretching it forward, and now Johnny Kite. Kite sends it towards the net, but wide. Bailey got out of position, and trying to send that one right into the slot was Sanderson. Luckily, though, the blast from the point from Dundas is denied, and the Beacons moving the other way. Riley's got Santa pass. Jack takes the pass towards Garrison, but he couldn't get Wood on it. Regnard's forecheck pokes it into the corner. Corralled there by Tristan Dundas, and Tristan gets the pass back from his teammate Sanderson, and then this one sent all the way down, no icing.
It's been a couple rebounds here, John, and it's the third time now where I've seen a rebound really in the slot. The Beacons have done a great job. That should be a penalty there. That's a hit to the head. Oh, boy, I hope Keene's all right there. He took a late hit right in front of us. Looked a little bit like a shoulder to the head, but seems to be all right.
Referees have not called anything through 13 minutes. Here's Gallagher. He's got something through the first period. He's got his goal and then loses an edge. The third time we've seen a player lose an edge in this game is Gallagher, who's got his second goal of the season earlier, loses one there. That's an inauspicious appearance for the Beacons because Regnard had to shift back to defense. Shot attempt there from Makarov is denied, and now able to dump this one all the way down is Helt. Beacons with possession. Regnard dumps it and chases. He's got Holiday on the far side. Justin got cut off a little bit, so he's going to get there late. Collides with Washington. It's poked away and taken by Brandon Plord. Plord around the end boards. Bartuccio Pereira towards neutral ice. Poke check from Albano. A little help from Gabe Chukrin. This comes all the way down I don't think this should be icing. They're going to call it icing, though. It looked like it deflected off a skate of one of the Huskies.
Well, the one thing I'm noticing here, and still a 2-0 game, it feels a little bit worse than it actually is. I think just the way the goals were scored is kind of has a lasting effect on this game. But let's not forget, we've seen the Southern Maine team kind of hang around. A 2-goal lead is not totally out of reach. If they're able to get one, again, still 6 minutes here in this period, a lot of hockey left. Really, it feels a lot worse, I think, than it is in the arena right now. If you're a Southern Maine player, if you're the Beacons, continue to do what you're doing, getting a lot of good scoring opportunities here thus far.
Face-off won by Southern Maine. Done a pretty good job in the face-off circle so far today as McBurney backhands it around the near side boards. Bross pokes it to Albano, D-to-D for Gabe, and the Beacons top line breaks out. Chakrin will lead the way. Beacons stay on side. A couple of players collided in front of the bench. Redler, one of them. Redler along with Pantalone. Near side boards, high rising shot from Nick, and he'll get a whistle as it's covered by Delosio.
I really like that play by Chukrin there. Your first on a break, anytime you're breaking out as a defenseman, your first option is you're looking to pass, try to get that, move that puck forward, try to hit it forward. If those passing options aren't there, don't be afraid to take ice. A lot of defensemen think it's almost automatic. You got to make a pass, you got to dump that puck off to a forward. You can see Chukrin there. Recognized that he didn't really have a good passing option, continued to take ice, enter the zone on his own, and ended up getting a shot on goal a little bit thereafter.
Awareness from the veteran Gabe Chukrin, who I feel like has been around forever, only a junior.
Yeah, and he's been great. Another real consistent player for this team.
Senior year next year is going to be quite a banner one as the Huskies in the Beacon zone trying to get something going against McBurney. Bailey hasn't been faced a whole lot, but he's made some good saves. This time it's a nice block in front by Sifferlin as he denies that one on a blast from Ferreira as this one comes up and out of play.
Good stick by Wickline there. That was an outlet pass that was just errant. There's no one there. It's just Huskies all around. You can see Wickline with and you see the forwards talking about it, discussing where that miscue was, but Wickline recognized the play, was able to get a stick in the lane, the shooting lane, deflecting that puck out of play. That could have been a lot worse for the Beacons.
Face-off won by UMass Boston. McGregor wins it back. David, one of those players who will be a senior next year. Senior day ceremony next year, assuming, no injuries, no changes. I mean, we're going to have to break out a half an hour for them.
At the very least.
You've got
a lot of guys.
Sanipass, McGregor, John Regnart, Justin Holiday, D'Urso, Bono, Carter, Gallagher, Chukrin. My goodness.
It's a lot.
Icing here on Southern Maine.
And something, you got to take into the recruiting aspect, right? That's a lot of guys that you've got to replace in this starting lineup. That's a lot of new faces that we're going to be seeing over the next 2 years here for this Beacons club. And I'm sure Coach Blyle is aware of what's on the horizon for his team, but a little bit further on down the line.
A little bit down the line.
We don't have to deal with that just yet.
Not to mention Coach Blyle always likes to entertain transfers from D1 and beyond.
And there hasn't been a D1, guys. This is offsides. We haven't had, I'm trying to think the last D1 transfer. There's been a bunch over the years. Milam, Lemire, Bucco, Billy Faust was another one. All D1 guys.
Well, Bailey.
Yep. Bailey's, I think,
from
the only
Sacred
one,
Heart,
right?
Yeah, that's it.
the only guy.
It's the only guy on the roster now.
So
I mean, Milam, there were some guys back in the day who were integral.
Oh, absolutely. Always looking for those D1 guys.
I believe Lemire was a transfer as well.
Yep.
Quinnipiac, I want to say.
Yep.
There's a collision in front of there. The Beacons will go to the power play for the first time as Nolan Redler finally draws one. Johnny Kite, the 6-foot sophomore from Carp, Ontario, is going to be swimming to the sin bin as the Carp native drilled Nolan Redler right in front of the glass at neutral ice.
Yeah, and you can see, Beacons taking exception to it and did it the right way. Not retaliating physically, but getting in the face. And letting them know, Kite, hey, you're not going to be able to do that today. And you can see all four guys letting them know we're not going to stand for that. We're not going to take a penalty, but we know who you are. We know where you're on the ice. So first Beacons power play here, 4:50 left in the period, and chance to go up by 3.
Face-off won by Zach Bross. He's out there with Redler, Sanipass, Larkin, and Albano. It's Larkin's shot high rising off the glass. This one's not going to be kept in by Colin, but he does a good job of cutting off Pantalone to at least prevent any sort of shorthanded opportunity as Albano retreats behind his own net. 1:40 to go. First period power play for the Beacons. First power play of the game for either team as Larkin sets it far side for Redler. Nolan gets it off the boards. Back to Albano. D-to-D. Larkin a blast. That one wide. Beacons keep it in the zone. Far side, though, as Bross comes right into the slide. He's got a shot. He takes in a good save made with the right leg by Delosio, and then taken down into the boards. Behind the net was Redler. He's been a punching bag today, and we will get a whistle with 1:16 to go on the power play.
It's going to be a 5-on-3 here, absolutely.
I don't know about that.
Well, let's see. I mean, Redler was 100% hauled down, and I saw Shepley put his arm up from the blue line. Now, let's see. It might have been a Beacon getting called, but I think we're going to have a 5-on-3 here.
Oh, looks like he did call it. I didn't see because the ref right by the hit didn't call it. So
yeah,
I
it was Shepley at center ice. I saw Belak, the referee Belak, didn't have it, but Shepley from center ice had a good angle on it as well. And yeah, it looks like we're going to have a penalty. So, not sure.
It's going to be on Brock Padgham, the Chilliwack, British Columbia native. A lot of Canadians on this Southern Maine squad.
Yeah, huge opportunity here, too. Still a minute 16 on that initial power play, so plenty of time on this 5-on-3, and really let the passing do the work here. You can really tire out these guys 3 on the ice if you can get some good passes in early on.
Yeah, Beacons smell blood in the water here. 2-man advantage. Larkin down low. Redler a shot, and just getting a piece of it. Delosio, what a save.
His best of the day. Beacon still with the puck.
Far side now, Bross. Beacons have a great chance. There's Larkin, and that one blocked down, I think, in front. And, well, that couldn't feel good as it sent all the way up into the netting.
Well, I'll tell you what, these smaller goaltenders, it's just amazing the reads they're able to get on these shots. I mean, you've got to make up a lot more net than, you're typically, your bigger guy can, usually rely a little bit more on his positioning. You see 2 great saves there by Delosio. That last one was huge. Had to lunge over, was able to get it out of play. Beacons win the draw here.
Yeah, huge keep. Albano was shot. That one sails wide, and then the trajectory of it will take it all the way down to the Beacons' end of the ice.
Yeah, and that's just not a smart play there. You got a 5-on-3. You're trying to pick a corner, and you got a breakout pass. Then you got to come back in. That's going to cost your team 10, 15 seconds right there.
Here's Bross trying to do it better. Instead, he thinks better and pulls back to Larkin. That's exactly what you said. Far side Albano. That one blocked down. Beacons can't keep it in. Nick got a piece of it, but Colin couldn't find it. And a fresh leg out there for Southern Maine as there's Larkin into the zone. Still 20 seconds to go in the 5-on-3. Beacons leading 2-0. Albano near side Redler. Right back to Nick. One time Larkin a shot. Good save as getting down into the butterfly to deny Colin on senior day is Delosio.
Yeah, Coach Bile not very happy with the way this 5-on-3 is running. And I think you might be able to hear a little bit of yelling on this broadcast. Well, that's Coach Bile. I think he's a little disappointed. Just, not letting I was talking a little bit about the passing. Let the puck do the work here. They're playing this a little bit like a 5-on-4 rather than a 5-on-3. You can really tire a team out if you're able to pass the puck up, down, left, right.
All I hear is Palau. Move it up, move it up.
Yep.
And listening to his coach is chuckering as he fires it into the opposite corner. Beacons do a good job keeping it in. Nackbauer down low for Wickline. Wickline for Sifferlin. Second power play unit. The 5-on-3 is over. Still 37 seconds in the 5-on-4. Nackbauer behind the net. What a momentum change this would be if the Huskies can kill off the 5-on-3 and the 5-on-4 as Sifferlin, not a good pass there, and it's cleared by Southern Maine.
And John, you're exactly right, and I think that's why Coach Bile is so adamant here. You've got to get some scoring opportunities. Otherwise, turnover here.
Oh,
it's 2-0.
boy, 2-0 in front. They score. Undressing Bailey McBurney and scoring is the team leader in point production. Brendan Murphy on a beautiful shorthanded play, getting the assist from his partner in crime, Brett Norman. And for McMurphy, it is goal number 4, point number 11, and the worst possible outcome for UMass Boston.
That's why Blau was adamant. You could feel it. Knockbauer was fumbled it a little bit on the wall, and now all of a sudden, a shorthanded goal. You've got a 2-1 hockey game. Worst case scenario, best case scenario if you're the Huskies. I mean, you're right back in this game here, but I think that's why Coach Blau was yelling so much. You know the momentum was going to shift there, and sure enough, here it is. You still have a little bit of a power play here, but a great goal by the Huskies.
Coach sends out the yellow line with just 5 seconds left on the power play to the point for Held. A high riser knocked down in front. And now here come the Huskies the other way as Regnar throwing that body around still. Good interception on a play made by Keene. Dakota absorbs the hit and sends it deep. Been a rough period for Dakota with regards to physical abuse as this one sent all the way around to Evan Held at the red line. Evan will wait, dump it in because the Beacons had Justin Holiday offside. Just 100 seconds to go in the first period, and it was 2-0 Beacons with a 5-on-3 for a minute and a half. And yet UMass Boston now trailing 2-1. coming up over with a nice shot. Good glove save from Bailey McBurney on the shot from Papanayo, the freshman from Valencia, California.
And you could just see the way the Huskies playing. You know, they're not on their heels anymore. Right back in this game, that shorthanded goal is so huge for a team, especially with the circumstances, right? A 5-on-3, a 5-on-4, then you're able to get a shorthanded. You kill off both. You end up right back making it a one-goal hockey game here. Minute 29 to play, but a huge momentum swing.
Beacons win the face-off as Larkin's line is out there, but Albano just dumps it deep, and that's icing just like that on UMass Boston with 81 seconds to go in period number 1.
Well, for those interested, if you want to hang around after the first period, listen to the intermission report. We're going to have Phil Zampatella, interesting guy, one of the larger Beacons. He's an alum of the Beacons, and his son actually plays for the Southern Maine Huskies. So we'll have an interview with him. I'll ask him a few questions, and a good friend of the program is Mr. Zamps.
Yeah, Ty Zampatella, a senior who transferred from UMass to Southern Maine, is backhanded by Albano behind the net for Chukrin with 70 seconds to go. Over the blue line, Larkin deflected away from him, tried to go near side for Bross. Sack catches up to the pass off the boards, but it's going to be intercepted and cleared out to the red line where Albano will reconfigure the offense. Beacons, however, offsides as Nolan Redler could not hold back.
Boy, oh boy. I'll tell you what, I think let's stay in the booth. I do not want to go into the locker room after this first period with Coach Blau. I see him pacing. I think, you know, and that's just recognizing the situation in this first period. You got 2 quick ones there. You're gifted with a 5-on-3, and just not the outcome, obviously, you wanted. Now 2-1 hockey game. See if the Beacons can get one here late, maybe save themselves from a tongue lashing after the first.
45 seconds to go, first period action, as from their own zone, the Huskies move forward. Maverick Lines gets it out to neutral ice, cut off by Carter, uses the boards to connect there with Sifferlin. Nice little pirouette to get out of the hit, as behind the net, Nackbauer pokes it towards Wickline. Cody poking for it. Couple of Beacons down there. That's Nackbauer and Wickline, but it eventually does make its way to the goal scorer, Brendan Murphy. Good look for Murphy as that one's deflected. Luckily, that one hit the glass and not the stands, as that one was coming in at 100 miles an hour. And now we have a whistle and an icing with 19 seconds left.
Yeah, still a chance to get a couple shots here. Plenty of time. Coach Blau going to put out his third line. McGregor, Riley, and Santa Pass are going to go out there for this draw. It's a big draw here, and I'm not surprised from a defensive perspective. You got Albano and Chukrin. You can win this back. You can try to generate at least 1, maybe 2 shots on goal here if you can win it clean.
McGregor, Riley, and Santapass, the big body who could perch out in front if he does get it back to either Chukrin or Albano.
Some more confusion with the Southern Maine change, and the center will get tossed.
They do have only 5 out there, so right numbers this time.
You will get flagged for that. You do that too often.
Face-off won by the Beacon. Santapass able to get possession. Tried to send it far side, but the bouncing puck eludes Albano. With just 10 seconds left, he sends it all the way in. And Delosio can't cut it off. Riley trying to get there with 5 seconds to go. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, and that'll do it for the first period of play. So the Beacons get 2 early goals about 20 seconds apart from the likes of Gallagher and Wickline. And since then, though, the Huskies have gained momentum. A lot of that had to do with the 5-on-3 kill, and then on the 5-on-4, the shorthanded goal. Yeah, just a huge momentum swing. I mean, this period was all Beacons. Right out of the gate, they came with a lot of speed and a lot of energy. And, next thing you know, they're up 2-0. Now they take, the Huskies take 2 penalties there. And you're really, if you're the coaching staff, you're really thinking, boy, we can really put this game away here in the first. If we're able to get 1, maybe 2, this game it's going to be tough for this Huskies team to come all the way back. Unfortunately, we're not able to do that. Huskies come down, score a shorthanded goal. We've got a 2-1 hockey game. Still very much in this, and it's very reminiscent of the way this game went a few weeks ago, where the Huskies, again, we talked about in the pregame, this team wants to hang around. A 2-1 game is not too far from where they want to be after 1 period. So a great job by this Huskies team finding a way to get it done, and Beacon's team that's in for, I'm sure, some motivational coaching after the period that they just had. That's one way of putting it. And a good lead-in here in the intermission report to the highlights of that matchup from a couple months ago when UMass Boston lost 3-2 in overtime right here at Edward T. Berry Ice Rink to these Southern Maine Huskies. Let's take a look at those highlights right here on the Intermission Show on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Here's Duggan. Gallagher behind net.
We're here in the first intermission report. Phil Zampatella, thanks for joining us. Glad to have you on here.
Matty, great to be here.
Yeah, no, it's always good having an alum, and we'll talk a little bit about. You've got kind of two sides of the coin, right? Half your allegiance to UMass Boston being an alum, but also half with the Huskies, right? Your son being on the team.
Well, as I tell Coach Bilal every time I see him, I'm rooting for him every single game they play except for when they're playing the Huskies.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Understandable. And a great game here today. Obviously, a 2-1 lead for the Beacons after one. You're a guy that's around a lot of the rinks in D1, D3.
Yep.
What are some of the nuances you see, between the talent level at the D1 game and, maybe some of that grit and desire you see at the D3 level?
I think at this point in time where everybody doesn't get into college for the most part, unless you're an elite player at the older 21-year age, all these guys can skate. The skill set maybe just a little bit not quite there at this level. I do think that D1 players are D1 players at this point. They've all matured to a point. That point, very few guys have missed. Maybe Redler and Larkin here is a guy that might have been able to play D1, but I think he's going to go on to great things too. But there's definitely a divide, and the effort level is always there, but maybe not quite the skill set.
What are some of the things you see, talent being the one thing, but, the time commitment, right? Also, the D3 only playing 21 games and D1 playing so many more games. Do you think that has anything to do with it in terms of the, endurance that some of those players have to have at the higher levels?
I know they've started much earlier season, sometimes at D1 before they even go back to school. They're committed to being on ice and with captain's practice and stuff. How it commits to their endurance, I think all these could play 50 games. They almost come off of playing a junior game, junior season of 45 to 50 games.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think that's an impact at all. It's just there's not as much time with the coach. It comes down to a talent thing.
Well, we'll flip it to the Beacons here. You're obviously an alum. You've seen this program come so far over the years. I mean, what do you think some of the things in terms of, obviously in the Frozen Four a few years ago and now, a team that's pretty competitive from a guy who's been around for so long? I mean, what's it been like to kind of watch this journey and to see how much success they've had over the last few years?
Well, about 4 or 5 years ago, I think that Peter started reaching out to some of the alums to help the program out. Peter's commitment to the program and to the alums, and his commitment to stay here, to not looking to achieve anything else. And from as far as I could tell, moving on,
right,
has been a tremendous, asset to the program. He does a great job commuting. It's a great school. They're working on some of the off-ice housing and stuff like that, and I think it's been great. It really has been great for the school and for the program.
Yeah, it's come a long way. Well, we've got we had the alumni game already.
Yep.
We've got. Well, I'm assuming you're going to be there next year. I know I'll be there.
Why wouldn't I be there?
You got to, right? It's such a good time. But we got that in the golf outing. Hopefully more events. I think as both former alumni, I always like to see guys from different generations getting together and having that same camaraderie.
Would love to see some of the older guys get involved. I know a lot of them do come back to see Peter, the younger guys, but I've been fortunate enough because of my son's relationship with some of them that I know them outside of hockey also. And
certainly.
It's good to see them. Include yourself.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's a blast every time we get together. Well,
yes, it is.
Phil, I appreciate you coming up and doing this with us, and we'll send it to some women's hockey highlights here. We'll be back after this.
All right, thanks.
Shot from the inside by Orange.
Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. John Scooters with Matt Meisenbacher. And the Beacons leading 2-1 after one period of play. As I'm looking for a rundown. Fuji here has taken. I don't know where the other one went. UMass Boston, take a look at the first period intermission. Oh, Matt took it.
I had it.
First period intermission stats. You look here, Matt, at the screen.
Yeah.
The Beacons doubling up shots 16-8 over Southern Maine. Otherwise, though, that power play is a critical one that the Beacons failed on, but faceoffs are almost dead even. So Southern Maine, early on in this game, it looked like the Beacons were going to run away from them, but just like they did last month, the Huskies staying close.
Adamant about it. You look at both sides, right? So from a Huskies perspective, their main focus of this game is let's hang around, keep it close, try to get one late. And they've done a good job. One period, check the box. You've done it 2-1. From a Beacons perspective, you really missed a key opportunity in this game. And we talked about in the pregame, the Beacons can really put teams away early on, whether it be the first, second period when they start to roll and they get, 1, 2, 3, 4. You saw there 2 quick ones and then a 5-on-3. I guarantee you Coach Bile's thinking, boy, we can win this game right here, right now. If we're able to put 1 or 2 on the board and we can kind of roll that momentum in the second period, he's starting to see the path to winning. Unfortunately, not able to do that. A couple missed opportunities that we had the bad shot from Albano, a couple block shots from Larkin. And then next thing you know, there's a turnover in your zone. You got a 2-1-0 on your goaltender. It's in the back of the net. So here you have a second period, very critical. Again, a Huskies team that's jockeying for position in the conference and a Beacons team that's really trying to find some semblance. That win yesterday, if you drop it here today, it's all for naught. So a team that really needs to find themselves here.
UMass Boston leading 2-1. 2 goals within mere seconds of each other. The first at 8:34 by Garrett Gallagher. Assist from Zach Bross, who Matt now has 30 assists his freshman year.
Pretty impressive.
That is super impressive.
Yeah.
Just astounding number. More than an assist per game for Zach Bross. Now, a lot of that, of course, is lining with the guys he lines with, but you have to be able to find them, and he's certainly done a good job of that.
Yeah. Really valid point. Not only the talent level to play with, we knew what Redler was capable of after his freshman year, and Larkin obviously goes without saying. But, the thing that strikes me about Bross, we had him on our post-game yesterday as our player of the game, is humility. And just kind of, you could see that his head isn't getting too big as a freshman, putting up those point totals. Boy, if I was doing that in the net, I think I'd be thinking of Marty Brodeur. And here you have a kid, steps right in and hasn't looked back and maintains that same humility throughout, and it's a credit to him and to his family, the way he was raised, and credit to him. We need more of it. This game, they're going to need more today. Only 2-1 game.
Absolutely. Cody Wickline scored the second goal for the Beacons, even strength 19 seconds later at 8:53 on an assist from Sifferlin. For Cody, it's his 7th of the year, Sifferlin's 11th assist, and then the shorty with 2:19 to go in the first from Brendan Murphy, his 4th from Brett Norman. Beacons out shooting the Huskies 16-8 as we take a look around Beaconville. You look there, indoor track and field competes at the LEC Championships today at Rhode Island College. Women's basketball team got absolutely bamboozled by Plymouth State, 77-46. Who would have saw that coming? So women's basketball team must have overslept. Maybe some imposters out there today, I'm not sure. Women's hockey team, on the other hand, taking it to New England College right now, 5-3 in the third period, as the Beacons doing their job on the road there. And then the men's basketball team held on against Plymouth State, beating the Panthers 76-62. As we look now around the New England Hockey Conference, as you look there, a lot of upsets brewing. Babson losing 1-0 to NEC at the start of the second. Hobart leading Casson 2-1 after one. And Norwich trailing 1-0 to Skidmore after one period of play. We are going to the second period in this one. Beacons moving right to left on your screen in their white jerseys, blue shorts, and decked out in all navy with white and yellow stripes. These Southern Maine Huskies moving left to right.
I'll tell you something, John. As you're talking here, they are going after Redler today. I mean, my goodness, he's taken some massive hits, and for some reason this team has pinpointed him as their target. You're taking a look there before the puck drop. Magliano all up in his face, and I'll tell you what, they are all over Redler here today. I'm not quite sure why. He's not the type of player that's going to make a dumb penalty or make a mistake like that. He kind of lives on that type of stuff.
Now 20 goals, 32 points this year. Had a couple of goals yesterday. Certainly somebody you want to keep an eye on. And He's probably the one guy that you can do it to who's not a physical monster like Larkin or Bross who would give it right back to you.
Well, not only that, I'll tell you what, I just thought of it. It might have something to do with his entrance. He has a very unique entrance to the game, and I always as a little bit of a miscue there, should have a whistle. You know, he has for those that have ever been to the rink or if happen to see it on the broadcast, he does a very unique hockey entrance. And I won't go into detail. You'll have to ask him or perhaps get the highlight clip. Very unique, a little bit cocky. But that's the type of player he is. And, you know, I always look at the opposing team, John, to see their reaction to it because it is so unique. And I could see a little bit of guys looking at each other like, hey, we don't like that. And it might have something to do with it. If I was a betting man putting money on, that's probably why this team took exception to him today.
Southern Maine trying to take exception to their deficit right now as they trail 2-1. Just underway in the second, about a minute in as Beacons from their own zone. Bross lets that go all the way out to neutral ice where it's cut off there by Padgham. Padgham sends it opposite end, taken in by the Beacons' blue line as Carter sends it far side. Bono lifts it up and out of the zone. Nice pass from Bross as he hands things off to Knackbauer. Knackbauer down low with Sifferlin, tried to backhand it towards the crease. Fisted out of harm's way by number 14, Tyler Matthew. And now Sifferlin gets spun around, taken down to the ice as this one is going to be sent to the far side boards. Parker Sanderson wraps it around the end boards, taken in there by Padgham. Padgham clears it, connects with Sanderson 2-on-2. Sanderson takes the shot, deflected up and over the net. Bouncing against the end boards. Nice no-look pass there by Carter to Bono, right back to Bryan. Bryan tried to get it out of the zone towards Sifferlin. It's kept in there. No one can find the puck. And then Sanderson eventually does, but he gets it poked away. And then moving forward is Knackbauer and dumping it deep. 2 minutes into the second period of play. It's 2-1 UMass Boston. Almost too many men on the ice. Great heads-up awareness from Gallagher not to touch that puck.
Yeah, really smart play. Veteran play. Just hobble over the puck there. Allow your team to change, and then you can go touch it.
Gallagher watches it taken in by Washington. And then it's poked towards Gallagher. Garrett sends it all the way in on Delosio, who hands it off to his defensive partner, Makarov. Sasha taken down. Nice hit there, laid into by Sanapass, and he'll do that to a lot of people.
Yeah, he's so strong.
As the Beacons gain possession, then dump it deep, D to D from Plord to Bertuccio Pereira. And then from neutral ice, Bertuccio Pereira gets it back, moves into his own zone, finds Washington. And Michael backhands it and goes for fresh legs.
I want to see what the Huskies are running here. We haven't had a chance to see their forecheck. This is the first time. Keep an eye. Last game, I remember they changed it up a little bit halfway through the game. We'll see if they keep that up or make the same adjustments this game.
Near side boards, Sanapass almost lost it and regains his composure and fists it off the sideboards. Nice backhander from McGregor to find Riley. Riley in a high riser, and I think getting a piece of that one with the glove, Delosio.
Yeah, great save. Riley snapping it off in stride. Here come the Huskies down the other end.
Magliano with a shot, and his slapper slams off the end boards wide short side. Sending that one through the crease was Kite. Unable to find any help. Sanapass. Nice stretch for Riley. Breakaway for the freshman. He lost possession. He was hooked. That should be a penalty shot as the Beacons.
Going to take a minor instead. Yeah, I thought for sure penalty shot. He was in all alone.
I don't know how it's not.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're going to talk about it. It might not. It looks like Belak's pretty confident. He's going to call a minor there on a hook, which is no problem. He'd probably take the penalty shot. Riley wants an explanation. He's not going to get one, but I'll tell you what, a great pass from Sanapass. He put that right on the tape in stride, yeah.
No pun intended.
Exactly. You've probably heard me say that. He's great. Got a great knack for passing that puck, and you saw there right on the tape hard. And Riley, with the soft hands, was able to corral it and get a little bit of body position in on the breakaway, but took a penalty, a hooking call there. And Beacons on the power play once again today is a shot and a save there by Delosio.
How is that not a penalty shot? But, hey, I'm just jealous. I wanted to call a penalty shot.
No, and I think that if had he not gotten a shot on goal there, John, you probably are going to get the penalty shot. But because there was a minimal shot on goal, admittedly, probably negated the penalty shot, take the minor.
Albano's wrists are from the blue line, is wide of the net. Behind the net, Redler got taken down, and somehow the refs' whistles are silent. Back to the point for Larkin. Larkin for Nick, D to D. Albano, far side, Redler. At the end line, Redler, nice lifting pass, lobbing it towards Larkin. Larkin, right side for Redler, he scores! Nolan Redler, punishment abound, but he punishes the Huskies where it counts. It's 3-1 UMass Boston.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a miscue at the blue line a little bit, and there's a puck in between. Larkin just took it and ran right down, was able to go down low, pass that puck hard across the ice, across the crease, and then put it upstairs, right underneath. That pass across right to Redler on the tape, and then Redler puts it underneath the bar. No chance for Delosio on the crossing pass. A great shot from Redler, 3-1 Beacons.
Assists from Larkin and Albano as that line on the power play gets it done again. And after the Beacons gave up a shorthanded goal with the second power play line out there, they get it done with the first. It's 3-1.
You know, that pass is so hard to cross, and credit, it's a turnover here.
Oh, you said it! Hits the post! The referee was right there. He waved it off as a point-blank scoring opportunity from Papagiano is denied by the crossbar.
Second time where the Beacons have scored and then almost immediately had a turnover very, very soon thereafter the goal, and you saw there right in front. And that didn't miss by much, John. I'll tell you what, from this angle, it looked very close to going in. I think that had good thing we don't have replay here, because I'm surprised Southern Maine, it must have known or seen that it wasn't in. I thought that had a look like it might have gone in, but 3-1 still, and the Beacons are fortunate. Bad, not the place you want a turnover.
Absolutely, as the opportunity from Papagiano right in front, and the Beacons dodge a bullet. Goalie's best friend, the iron. As behind the net now, Chukrin chasing after it. Gabe connecting with Holiday, taken down at neutral ice. Puck just sitting on a tee there for somebody. Eventually Regnard able to find it, but loses possession. And from the own zone, Chukrin lifts it towards John Regnard. Far side, corralled by Albano, drops it back to Gabe. Gabe, he's got Keene, he finds him. Dakota onside, trying to use the wheels to get around. And he was fisted off any scoring opportunity by Dundas in the corner. Holiday got it poked away. And breaking out with it, Brett Norman. And then avoiding the hit, but losing his stick was Norman. And that's going to allow the Beacons to gain possession as Evan Helt will skate it away.
Yeah, Albano saw him with his head down. Norman was skating full stride, full speed. Got his head up just at the last second. Albano had him absolutely lined up. And you could see there, needed every second he had to avoid that hit.
Would have been a Norman-size crease in the ice as Redler into the attacking zone. Gets some help out there right in front for Bross. His shot was deflected. Behind the net, Bross fighting with two Huskies for possession. Redler comes over to help out. Fighting him there, it's going to be Pantalone and Kite. And still loose, and eventually Pantalone finds it. And the breakout is unsuccessful as pass is intercepted. Larkin right into the far side, tried to tuck it short side. Denied by the netminder Delosio.
Great shift here from this top line. Really putting a lot of pressure on these Huskies D. And you've seen two turnovers. Looks like they're going to be able to clear here, but they need a change.
Maverick Lines sends it off the glass and taken in his own zone by Helt. Good stretch towards Redler, who hands it off to Bross. Bross in. He's got Redler and Larkin backhanded in front and denied by Delosio, who covers with 13:31 to go.
I think he was trying to fly that across the crease, maybe try to find Larkin back door there. Regardless, a great shift from that top line. We've seen a lot of consistency from them today, and now the second line is out there. Knockbauer, Wickline, and Sifferlin. These guys have been good as well. Don't forget, they have that second goal on the 2-on-1 they were able to connect on. This line has looked good today.
Knackbauer got taken off, just out-muscled in the face-off dot. And that immediately allowed Southern Maine to get possession. Beacon's forecheck, putting them back behind their own net. Beacon's forecheck has been aggressive and solid today. Only goal they gave up was on a power play.
Well, they're doing a really good job supporting one another. As one guy goes, Huskies are able to break out here, but as one guy goes on that forecheck, they fill the gaps with their F2 and F3, their second and third forwards, and you've seen, must have been a point of emphasis in practice this week. We've been seeing it with all lines today.
That one deflected off the glass, off the stick of Sifferlin, and then what an effort to attempt to poke it deep, but they're going to say hand passes. I suppose Carter had used that glove to get it to Tyler.
Yeah, not the worst play in the world. It's a little bit of a broken play there, and he'll take that whistle and kind of readjust here. Still 12:53 to play, a 3-1 lead here for the Beacons.
Brian looked like he may have been hit in the back of the neck or something. He's favoring that as he heads to the bench. He looks okay. From their own zone, the faceoff will ensue. Faceoff to be taken by Mark Tomaszek, a Toms River, New Jersey native for the Huskies, and McGregor for the Beacons. Tomaszek wins it back. Great save by McBurney on the one-time blast from Adam Papagiano.
Tomaszek, a former Jersey hitman like myself, you see him off the draw there, able to win that back. A great save by McBurney, and I'll tell you, so tough off the draw. When you go from kind of a standstill, you really have to be on your toes. Was able to shuffle over to his right and able to make that blocker save, no rebound.
Face off, a couple of bodies colliding there, led by McGregor. Albano lost possession, now back behind the net, Papanayo. Adam got poke checked from Albano and sent all the way down, and now a race. Ryle will try to get there. Delosio came out and did a good job, and he'll send it into the catwalks here, which should be a face-off in the Beacons attacking zone.
That's pretty impressive for a shorter guy able to get that amount of leverage underneath the puck. Fans at home might be wondering, should that be called a penalty? No. The only time a goaltender gets flagged for a delay of game is if it flies over the glass. You're actually allowed to, if you can, in a situation like this. I don't know if he meant to, but to fly it up into the ceiling like that, you kind of get a free out. And you saw there, Delosio was able to leverage it, get it up into the netting, and Beacons possess.
Mark Tomaszek out there moments ago, the native of Toms River. The only thing I know about Toms River is the Little League World Series champions there quite some time ago.
Yeah, people remember, and a former Yankee, now a Met, Todd Frazier, was on that team, on the, I don't know, 96 or 98 Little League team that won it all.
I think that was pre-scandal.
Danny Almonte.
Yeah,
it was 01. I remember that, yeah. Great Toms River, great little town by the ocean.
12:14 to go, and we're already seeing Riley going at it there with Sasha Makarov on the far side wing as Beacons win the face-off, sent all the way in by Gallagher. And it pokes right over to McGregor. Good look from Sanapass, but then David loses an edge in the corner after losing possession. And then just laying on top of him smartly is Maverick Lines. Fighting for possession, McGregor along with Lines, poking at it. Sanapass, puck still loose. McGregor looking for Sanapass. Instead, Johnny Kite poked at it. Those two players collide, and the puck makes its way out to neutral ice. Riley got it poked away, and now coming back the other way is Makarov, sending it far side, intended for Ferreira. Good stick, though, from Evan Helt.
Well, Riley should really be thanking Helt after this shift. I mean, he's got to make the easy play there and just get that puck back to his D on the cross-ice pass. Instead, he tried to make a quick up. Puck was turned over. He's fortunate that Helt was able to recover and get back. That could have easily been a scoring opportunity. Riley knows better than that.
Beacons break out with it. Here's McGregor. This line's been out here for a solid minute. McGregor tumbles down. Fresh legs for UMass Boston. As the Huskies move forward, Washington 6'4", 220. Gets possession near side board, but that's going to be clear offsides. They're going to say delayed as it wasn't touched over the blue line by Bartuccio Pereira. Here's Keene the other way. Keene with a shot, gloved down and covered by Delosio.
He's got good speed, Keene. A very underrated skater. You could see there, it looked like a very simple 2-on-2. Most people might think he just kind of dumped that puck in, but Keene, his quick feet was able to kind of get around, and I'm impressed. Able to get a shot on goal there. Most skaters would probably just dump that puck in. Keene trusting himself, and good shot, good save by Delosio.
Almost halfway through this hockey game as the Beacons lead it 3-1.
Oh boy.
And a penalty coming up on UMass Boston. Johnny Regnart's been playing with reckless abandon, and he's going to go to the sin bin. As that one is saucered in towards Bailey. A nice scoop on one hop. Get him at first base once Chris Fowler moves on.
No doubt
Bailey
about
McBurney,
that.
Nice save there.
Into the glove. Regnard knows it too. Yeah, just a hit from behind here. I don't think any malicious intent, just the way the play developed, and he's going to take what will probably be a boarding call here. So we'll see the Huskies power play, I believe, for the first time today. This is the first time they'll have the man advantage. And
it's not a good one, 11.4% on the year.
Well, I was about to say, not their strongest point. I think probably an area they're going to look to improve upon for next season. But, I do believe, if my memory serves me correctly, I think they had one the last time they were in this rink. I think they did score at least once, maybe twice on their power play. So we'll see what we have here.
They already have a shorty today. It's their only goal of the game. Trailing 3-1. It's a big kill for UMass Boston as we will eclipse the halfway point during it. Back to the point now for Padgham. His shot, good save. McBurney rebounds loose, but able to clear it all the way down is Bono, and it goes right into the penalty box for Southern Maine.
I want to see where they put this face-off. I think it's going to be in zone. That's an unfortunate break there. It looks like the Beacons will be allowed to change, but that side of the ice, when you have the two benches, if he's coming out the other side, it's easy. It's off the glass. It's an ice. But off that side, you don't have a lot of glass to work with there, and you can see with an in-zone draw now, it's a lot of pressure here. You got to win this draw off your wick line.
And Cody does, as trying to clear it there was Nackbauer, but it's somehow kept in.
Yeah, not good here.
D
Should
to
have
D.
been a clear.
Dundas, far side, right back to Tristan. Tristan near side, taken in here by Bartuccio Pereira. One touch pass from Dundas, right back. Bartuccio Pereira save, rebound is loose, they score! The Huskies answer back on the power play. We were mocking their 11.4 percentage, and they tell us where to put it. It's 3-2.
Well, it's fairly predictable. For those people that watch a lot of hockey, it's amazing how many times, you see yourself on a penalty kill, on a failed clear. You just don't have a lot of opportunities, secondary opportunities. If you miss on a clear, you can see there, Huskies able to keep it in and score almost directly after. Nackbauer's got to find a way to get that puck all the way down the ice. A couple times that the Beacons had chances to clear, weren't able to do it. Ends up in the back of the net, and a Huskies power play now making this game one goal once again, 3-2.
Got ourselves a hockey game. Halfway through it, 9:57 to go, second period. They're still ironing out who got the goal. We're not sure.
And just, these are the type of mistakes that are very frustrating as a coach. These are almost like an unforced error in tennis. Simple things like clearing a puck on a penalty kill. You get the chance there, taking maybe an extra second to look and find the lane as backhand will just be floated on net. Delosio will hold on to it. But, very frustrating there. If you're Nackbauer, he spins around and tries to fire it down. Take that extra second to figure out, there's so much room to work with there. Got to find a way to clear that puck. Instead, Huskies keep it in. They're able to generate a one-timer that gets past McBurney, and you've got yourself a 3-2 hockey game.
And on the ensuing face-off, Larkin won it and then brought all the way down. The ensuing face-off after that, blasted in from Albano. Good save by Delosio. Losing his glove, Redler. He's able to regain it. A little help from Bross. Nolan, backhander, Nolan was home as it's intercepted by Pantalone. And then cleared towards neutral territory where Maverick Lines absorbs the hit from Chukrin before dumping it deep. Behind the net, Nick Albano, backhanded towards Redler. Redler got tied up. Did a good job at least holding up the defenseman Matthew to get it to Bross. Bross got tied up, and now here we see, using some momentum, the Huskies is cutting in late there was Murphy, but the Beacons able to take it away. Overskating that one, Colin Larkin takes a nice whack at it to get it into the attacking zone. And Albano's pass is going to be deflected up and out of play with 9:04 to go.
Once again, need a shift here. If you're the Beacons, got to have a shift. 9:04 to play, a one-goal hockey game once again. And playing really, and you know what, I wanted to mention this before. Again, history repeats itself, right, John? The Southern Maine had a real physical and aggression, real physical presence to their play the last time they played here. Ended up getting a win. They are not shy about the physicality of some of these Beacons players. In fact, they invite it. We're seeing some of that here today.
Did they even announce who scored that goal? I'm not sure.
They did. I missed it. Too busy yapping.
Too busy doing our job, I suppose, as the Beacons gain possession in their own zone. Moving forward, Sifferlin gets it from Daniel. There's a shot blocked down. Another chance. Good save by Delosio. Behind the net, Sifferlin was dragged away from the puck's area by Brandon Plord. And then Murphy sending it for Matthew, who dumps it deep. Chasing after it there, Sanderson. Behind the net, Sanderson shrugs off Carter. Knocked down by the skate of Papanayo. And eventually towards neutral ice where it's poked back deep by Padgham. Far side, Bono. Nice stretch feed, connecting. Over and losing possession, Wick line, and the Beacon had to get off the ice. That was held. It would have been too many men. Somehow he got off, and now here's a chance. Good one-touch feed in front. Got the shot away. And denied was Tomaszek, the Toms River native, by McBurney.
Good stop. Good stop from McBurney. That was pretty much a 3-on-2 there.
From neutral ice, almost tumbling down awkwardly was Padgham. Beacons able to take advantage. Sifferlin into the attacking zone. Off the end boards, though, the Beacons were getting fresh legs out there, and that'll allow Witkowski and company to clear it. Hit from behind was Gallagher, and now a 2-on-1 perhaps. Good poke check from his Tukas by Gallagher, and that prevented any sort of opportunity. And now here comes Riley the other way with Santa Pass. 2-on-1, hurrying back are the Huskies. High-rising shot from Riley, and that one's sent off the end boards and out of the play. It'll be offsides if the Beacons don't touch up. They do.
Riley's got to put that off the pad. You can't try to pick a corner there. You've got a winger. They've already scored on a pass-off pad. You got to try to get that off the pad and over to Santa Pass there. You just can't try to pick a corner when you've got Santa Pass flying down, especially a guy with his size. You've got to try to find a way to get that off the goaltender. And you see, they're probably going to talk about it here. Yeah, you see Santa Pass give him a tap. Hey, no problem, buddy. You missed me there. You'll get me on the next one. But, yeah, Riley's got to know. You got to recognize the play. You've got a winger there. You try to get it to him off the goaltender or try to float one over to him rather than picking a corner.
Top line out there. Bross on the face-off. Unable to win it, but the Beacons trying to get back behind the net. Fisted off it there was Redler by Kite, and that's going to allow the Southern Maine Huskies to clear it out to the red line. Here's Chukrin taking it in, sending it in around the end boards. Chased down by Redler. He's going into the 6'4" Washington. Somehow maintains his footing. Chukrin looking to go off the far side boards. Does, but no one was home to receive that pass, and then Washington smartly just uses the boards to get it out of the zone.
And you saw Redler with another hit, and it was in the net. You see, they're really going
what a
after
move
him.
from Larkin in front, and a good save from Delosio.
And here you felt it coming. You know, the refs, they're so – you got to be cognizant of what's going on out there. Clearly, the Huskies are going after Redler today, and it was only a matter of time before it was going to boil over. I think Redler will probably take a penalty here. But, yeah, great move from Larkin, no doubt, and a great save by Delosio. But I wonder, are they only going to take Redler? You know, and it felt it coming. They've been after him all day. He hasn't gotten a call, and there he takes one. A little bit of a retaliation there after the whistle, putting his team down shorthanded.
That's a frustration foul as Redler went right into Johnny Kite, sophomore from Carp, Ontario, and that's a good play by Kite when you can get a guy to take a penalty like that.
That's exactly what they did last time. They know that if they can pinpoint certain guys and get them to retaliate, they're going to get a couple power plays. Already have one power play goal here today, and you can see, we don't have the camera on him, but you see Chukrin talking to Redler. You know, the teams recognize, hey, we know they're going after you, buddy. You've got to try to swallow it. We can't put ourselves shorthanded there, and good on Chukrin making sure his player's okay and trying to get him to settle in.
1:45 to go, 2-minute minor on Redler as UMass Boston will try to protect this one-goal lead. Behind the net, poked out towards the corner. Good play from Helt. He connects now with Bross the other way. Coming all the way in and then losing an edge. Actually, that was Wickline. And then he got taken into the boards. 16 and 18 are so difficult to tell. These
tough three, especially when one's on the far side wing.
And they're very similar in height as well, but that was Wickline. Good job. Could not get a shorthanded opportunity, but killed off a solid 40 seconds.
Yeah, no doubt. A great pass from Helt, absolutely. Put it on the tape. I think had that been a little earlier in the kill, you might have seen a little bit more speed from Wickline. It was towards the end of his penalty kill shift and just didn't have enough in the tank to get a rush there, but half the power play for the Huskies here already gone.
From the near side, the Huskies move forward, backhanded deep by Norman. Chukrin gets there first. Gabe got tied up a little bit, and that's a turnover that's forced by the forecheck. Right up in front, a chance, save, rebound is loose. McBurney made just enough of a save in front on Matthew.
And a great clear there. Able to get this pressure and try to disrupt this breakout a little bit. They've been doing a nice job that the forwards have on these breakouts here, just taking away the lanes. Huskies are able to enter here, but you see the swarm, and they should be able to clear this right back down.
Right you are, as from the blue line, D to D from Padgham to lines. Maverick over the blue line, and then gets it poked away and taken away from Bross. Bross has McGregor, gets him. David trying to go through the legs of the defender. Good play from Padgham. And then the second chance opportunity from Bross is denied by Delosio. But the Beacons, with just 7 seconds left, have done a good job on this shift.
Yeah, effectively killed it off. And a great little play there. McGregor and Bross able to connect, causing a little bit of pressure. Bross on the initial pass. McGregor tried to make a move, followed it up as the puck was loose, and then dumped it back to Bross for a shot on goal. Good save by Delosio, but that effectively kills off this power play. Now you've got an in-zone draw for the Huskies. Only 7 seconds left on the kill. It looks like they're going to take Redler to the bench and have that second line out there in full.
Power play is over. Beacons kill it off. As you said, Redler onto the bench, and the Beacons offsides, as just getting out in front was Knackbauer as Wickline was trying to bring it in. 4:37 to go, second period. My name is John Skudras. My partner in crime, as always, Matt Meisenbacher, as the Beacons lead it 3-2.
Well, John, a good kill here for the Beacons, but again, 4 minutes to play. Boy, you'd really like a 2-goal lead here. A 1-goal lead is a little bit too reminiscent to the way these two teams played earlier in the season. I think if you're the Beacons, you're really trying to get one here in the Final Four.
Oh, there you go. Bad turnover. Bros, a high-rising shot. Sails up and wide as UMass Boston forcing a turnover there and almost delivering as this one's dumped all the way in for icing. And this second line of Wickline, Sifferlin, and Nackbauer, that was Wickline with the forced turnover, have been outstanding today.
Yeah, no question about it. And you can see, if you get a look at the goaltender here fixing his mask, that might have clipped his mask. I think Wickline was trying to pick a corner, put it over the shoulder, and I think probably clipped maybe one of the clips on the mask there. You saw Delosio with a quick adjustment. I don't think he missed by too much there, John.
Face-off won by Bross. Larkin could not get possession, but it's kept in by Albano. All the way around, Delosio uses his stick to edge it deeper into the corner. Bross overskated it. Larkin, what a feed in front for Redler! What a save, rebound, and what a save and cover from Delosio as Redler was trying to get the goal after the power play moments ago.
Well, great effort by Delosio getting that pad across. Redler was all by himself, all in front, and he's got the hands where he can really make life difficult for a goaltender. You can see there, trying to go around, beat him to the spot on the far side. Delosio was able to get the pad there. Not only that, John, but able to hang on. Redler got 2 or 3 whacks thereafter, just wasn't able to jam it home. I'm not quite sure how Delosio got himself there and was covering it up before the puck was over the goal line. But a great save, his best of the day to keep it a 1-goal game.
I'm not sure either as the Beacons win the ensuing face-off. Larkin finds his spot, picks it, and then a good save. Delosio continuing to flash the leather.
Yeah, it's funny, goaltenders on teams that aren't that great typically face a lot of rubber, so I'm sure this is nothing new to him. And another good stop there. Larkin with he's got a hard and a quick release, and I saw Delosio was able to read it all the way in as that one goes through his crease.
Certainly did. As Larkin in this top line get it right back, sending it in front. Delosio uses his stick to poke it away, and then Chukrin's slapper from the slot is sent high and wide. Ross bringing the lumber and sending Brett Norman to the ice. And now here come the Huskies off of that hit, and they have a 4-on-3. There's a shot, save McBurney, puck is loose, save McBurney, and he covers. As coming all the way in and getting 2 shots away was the native of Chilliwack, Brock Padgham.
It's really been some rebounds here. And, it's typical in goaltending. Sometimes you've got really clean rebound control. You're able to deflect them and put them where you want them. Other times it's almost like you're fighting it a little bit tonight, and you got to weather the storm. We've seen McBurney, typically very good with his rebounds, doesn't give too many. Here today, he's had a couple leak through, but he's recovered nicely. I don't think it's cost him of yet.
3:33 to go. Second period, it's 3-2 UMass Boston as Regnart's tossed from the dot. Holiday wins it, though, to John, and John gets it out of the zone. Sent all the way back in, and instead all the way out of play.
Oh, man.
Or face-off.
Did you see that? Oh, man, the little guy not paying attention. That didn't miss by much. Boy, that right over his head, and fortunately for him and for his parents, he's all right. Continue to play with his buddies, but got to have your head on a swivel here at the Edward T. Barry Ice Rink. Boy, that could have been bad. Good for the kid, though. He's all right. Continues to bounce around.
Hockey's a physical sport, whether you're playing or watching it. Here's Holiday trying to bring it into the crease with a backhander, and Johnny on the spot denied by Delosio.
And you see the frustration from Holiday, just a little bit too jumpy there. I think, came in with a ton of speed and had plenty of room. There's really nobody around him. I think his thought process was probably, hey, I probably got somebody on my tail here. I got to have to get it off pretty quickly. He had a little bit more time than that. Got a backhand shot off. Still a good opportunity, and Delosio with another good save. His best period of this game so far. He's had a lot of action in this period, and minimal mistakes is another one added to the list. Dakota Keene on the backhand and the glove save.
Delosio's been outstanding today. Came in with a 305 GAA and an 899 save percentage. Beacons leading at 3-2, but he's made some tough saves. Ensuing face-off. And this time, it's Regnart's opposition, Matthew, the captain for these Huskies, who's tossed. Johnny wins it out towards the slot, but it got out of play. And dumping it all the way back in is Carter. Delosio slows it down.
Solid read by Carter there.
Delosio got hit there by Holiday. And luckily for the Huskies, they were able to keep possession long enough. as Murphy loses it, and the Beacons see Regnart one-on-one with Kite. Regnart pulls it back, and Kite got his stick in the shooting lane to deflect it high and wide. Behind the net, Holiday, backhander, and that deflected off the side of the net right to Keene, but unable to get his wood on it. And now this one poked towards the far side boards. Keene wrapping it all the way around off the glass. Beacons getting fresh legs out there. 2.5 minutes to go as good play by Heltz to keep it away from Murphy. Carter now in his own zone with Heltz, finds Evan. Fresh legs for the Huskies. Long stretch feed and unable to get his stick on it was Wickline. And that will be icing on UMass Boston.
You know, I like the read from Heltz, and sends a whistler across ice, tried to connect. He's able to connect there. He's got a scoring opportunity, no doubt. Possible assist. Just missed and goes for icing there. I don't mind that every once in a while. If you're a defenseman and you think you can get it there, you can zip one in, maybe catch the forwards a little bit in terms of their gap. Didn't miss by much there. Nice pass by Heltz. Just didn't connect on it.
Beacons win the ensuing face-off. They've done a much better job in the dot this period. It was 15-13 UMass Boston in the first 20 minutes as this one comes up and out of play.
I got the signal from Seth. No one injured. We're good. We're doing good today. We're pretty good. It's a lot of time. A lot of pucks out of the rinks thus far.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, keep it up.
Comes right in here. I'm ducking behind you.
You got me, man. I still got some reflexes left. I think
You're
I
the
can
goalie.
Get there.
Yeah, you got to make the save.
There. Yeah, I think I got a little bit left.
That glove hand.
I don't want to test it, though. I prefer not to test it. Just take my word for it.
I will, as the Beacons from their own zone. Nackbauer backhanded off the sideboards, kept in. There's a shot deflected in front. McBurney kicked the right leg out on a beautiful deflection off the stick of Pantalone.
Yeah, really good stop, and you'll see here a little bit of frustration there. I think out of McBurney, blown coverage for sure. That puck was redirected. The shot before that last one was redirected, and he was able to get the pad there, able to kick it aside. But some blown coverage there off the draw. Still minute 45 here. A one-goal game. Now, let's not forget, after the first period, Huskies were able to get one. I know it was shorthanded, but we're able to get one late. And that would be, the ultimate, as we're going to get an opportunity here. Bross can get there.
Unable to do so as poked deeper there by Zach. Larkin getting down towards it, but he's cut off. And eventually it's Maverick Liney's who pokes it away from Colin, but Redler put it right back in Colin's back pocket, but he couldn't get the shot away. Chukrin, with it delayed offsides, is just going to have to send it deep.
That's a smart play because you've got the Huskies pinned here. If you're able to hold on to this puck, get it deep again. Now you've got it pinned. If you can get your forwards in, you can hold them. This is the long shift here for the Huskies.
Like you said, Zach Bross, far side circle, save with Redler on the doorstep. With 65 seconds to go, backhanded in front, Delosio pokes it away. Corralled there, far side by Papanayo.
Still got him pinned here, John. You got to hold this puck in.
Oh, boy. Chance the other way. Papanayo chasing after it. He gets there in front of Chukrin and loses sight of the puck as he was looking at Gabe.
End of the shift. It would have been a breakaway otherwise, no doubt about it. Just at the end of the shift for Papanayo.
And an offsides as Papanayo was heading to the bench, but with the door in the attacking zone. Offsides was Padgham with 45 seconds to go.
Well, you could see it there. The top line could feel it. They had them really at the end of the shift. They had the Huskies pinned in their own zone and a couple opportunities, maybe a shot on goal there. They're talking about it there on the bench. That's a good shift for the team. You'd like to see maybe one or two more shots on goal, but a solid shift at the end of the second.
Murphy gets there behind the net, able to evade the defense of Carter. Murphy drops it back, intended for his partner in crime, Padgham, on the blue line, and then going down hard there was Holiday. He's okay, though, as Keene will chase after this one. Murphy from his own zone, near side now for Dundas. Tristan double-teamed and sandwiched between Keene and Holiday, as the Beacon's physical nature amping up here late in the second, sending it far side Dundas. Behind the net, Beacons should just probably try to clear it here with 7 seconds to go. They do. 2-on-2. Holiday stumps it deep, and with no time left, the horn sounds on the second period. What period it was, the Beacons leading 2-1 coming into the period. Exchange goals between both of the clubs, and we actually have an injury now in the Beacons' own zone. Didn't see that. Is that John Bono?
Yeah, Bono's down here. Didn't see it. Was very much behind the play. I'm not quite sure what happened. I don't think anybody saw it, but Ed Perkins, the head trainer, is coming onto the ice. Bono's been down, at the very final seconds of this period.
He's up now.
Seems to be all right. Maybe my guess would be he probably took a big hit and didn't seem to have had something to say to the bench there, but seems to be all right. I'll tell you what, John, this Huskies team, this is the recipe for a win for them. This is what they try to do. Is now you're down one. I'm sure that's something obviously they're going to need to recover from. But a 3-2 game you'll take that. You've got 20 minutes now where you can try to sneak one in, maybe force overtime. Beacon's team that really has dominated. But again, this is what we get with this Huskies team. Beacons are all over them here for 2 periods, but only up by 1. And I'll tell you, certain things I like about this team, but the one thing is the inability to finish on some of these scoring opportunities. If Redler's able to tuck that in, he made a great effort and a great save by Delosio, but a 4-2 lead here is much better spot to be in. 3-2 is a little bit nerve-wracking for this team, especially the history given. So we're in for a good third period here.
3-2, UMass Boston leading it. 1 period to go in the 2017-18 regular season. We're going to go to a break here on the Intermission Report. Tomorrow, right here at UMass Boston, the Special Olympics will take place. It's been an event that they have had in the past, most recently a year ago. Let's take a look at highlights of the 2017 event right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Having the Special Olympics here, it's really an honor, and it's such a great experience. I've been here for the past 2 years, so actually I've been here for the past 4, but the past 2 years that we've been doing it, it's been such a great experience. We help out with the team, we become part of the team. Hockey joins up, and they get so into it. We make friends. We've got one girl, Cookie, here. She helps us out every single time. And really brings all the other teams together along with the Special Olympics teams, and they really get a second home here at UMass Boston.
Kristen, how do you know Cookies?
Cookie and I go way back. When did we meet? My freshman year. So that was like 4 years ago or 3 years ago. And you were here at the Special Olympics? Yeah. And you were playing basketball?
Yes. And I got some shots in. And I am married to Michael Jordan.
All right, well, Cookies, we heard that you have some quality dance moves. Can you show us some dance moves on camera right now? All right, can we see it? All right, let's see what you got. All right. Abigail, what's it like? What's the atmosphere like here at the Clark Athletic Center?
It is it can be very noisy, but on the other hand, it actually gives you very good motivation in practicing for the Special Olympics basketball.
So how do you guys practice to kind of get ready for this tournament?
Well, we practice on every Monday, and until the day comes, we're ready.
Competitive is this tournament?
We're against the GMPI team, and we're trying to beat them. So we're the winner.
Very challenging.
Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. John Scudras with Matt Meisenbacher as we are here in the second period intermission reports. Take a look at the stats through the first two periods. And Matt, Beacons winning the shot totals 33-18. Both teams with a power play goal. Southern Maine got the shorty, of course, in the first. Beacons able to extend their face-off margin a bit, 33-26 in that period. But this has been the case, really, for much of the year. Beacons out shooting their opponents by a lot and only marginally ahead on the scoreboard.
Yeah, especially against this Huskies team. And you take a look, shots on goal. I think I'm looking at some of the players who have had opportunities here. Larkin with 7 shots on goal, Bross with 6, Redler with 4. So your top guys are going. You've got some secondary help. Albano's got 3, Bono's got 2, Keene's got 2. So you're getting production from a lot of your guys that you normally would go to. You've got the lead here. You know, the thing that you got to keep in mind, you still have the lead and you're at home. Senior night, you figure you win a period, you win a hockey game, a very common phrase in that locker room, I'm sure, right now. But it just feels like one bounce and all of a sudden those tides turn, and this is the type of team they do. They had a little bit of that resiliency and that perseverance yesterday against the Pilgrims team. They got a bounce late. It'll be interesting to see how they approach this third period. I really would love to see them continue to pressure. They have dominated this hockey game, and they will get eventually. They will break. You know, they can get 2, 3 more here and really put this game away. But we're in for some intrigue here in this third period.
It's an interesting period for Nolan Redler. He got his 21st goal on the power play at 3:56 to give the Beacons a 2-goal lead. And then late in that period, after taking a lot of abuse, both some of which legal and some of which I think we would say a little bit illegal, he gets called for a roughing penalty in the crease of the opposing goalie. Ends up leading to a power play and a power play goal to cut it to a 1-goal game. First of all, do you think that Coach Belial's saying something to him this intermission?
Yes,
Secondly,
absolutely.
Is that it? Is he going to figure that out and just put all of his energy towards scoring a goal, or could we see more of this creep up in the third?
You know, it's really frustrating as a player when you're taking extra shots and you just don't feel like the referees are taking notice. Typically how it evolves, you start, you make a claim to the ref, hey, this guy, these guys have been after me, keep your head, take a look for it, keep your head up on it. And when you don't get it and it continues to happen, that frustration boils over, and you could see there, he takes the penalty, and Gabe Chuckton wears the A for a reason. You could see there, he's a smart hockey player, recognized the frustration that Redler was having this game. He's being picked on and goes over to talk from the defensive side. He's a D-man talking to a forward, which only happens occasionally during a hockey game, and makes his way down saying, hey, listen, I see what's going on out there. We'll kill this off. We'll get you back. A really great play. That's that team morality. I think Redler probably is I think it's probably going to get worse in this third period, but knows he can't take another penalty. You can't put your team shorthanded like that. So he knows that. He'll keep his frustrations in check. But boy, oh boy, and you talk about the Huskies power play. It doesn't look so good on paper. Already had one today, and a couple opportunities there where they almost put a second one in. So you really can't afford to go shorthanded here, and I think it'll be addressed in the locker room. And I think the aggression will still be there from the Huskies in the third period, but don't expect it to there to be any retaliation type of penalties again.
Redler 4 shots in this game, third on the Beacons. In fact, that top line has 17 shots combined between Larkin, Bross, and Redler. The rest of the Beacons have 16 combined. So that top line doing the Lions' share of the offensive attack here against Delosio and company for Southern Maine, but the Huskies right in this one. They've only got 3 wins all year. They have lost 8 straight, but their last win was against the Beacons right here in overtime. Still very much a hockey game through 2 periods. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll finish things up here and get you to the exciting start of the third period. Right now, let's take a look at men's basketball highlights against UMass Dartmouth from Wednesday, a 4-point victory for the Beacons.
Orange comes straight away. The corner for Charles Mitchell. For 3. Can't connect. All the hands to backhand. And for all the Euro. Right out. You are trying to find out the Euro double team. Backhand from the wing. Now it's around his Hockey Street. Hockey hit with him. Williams Jr. Boys have stop with Lee. Here's time for Charles Mitchell. Mitchell around the boys screens. On the second half. Floater for Williams Jr. Off the hand of Powers. Pulls up the floater over the ball. Can't convert. Beautiful steal. Boy, for Charles Mitchell from this goal head to the score sheet. We barely see Mitchell, so it's basically 7 guys. At this point, he's a talking to your sky's the lead. Now the stairs, now the four stairs, that number's the other way. Brandon Williams all the way to the same net. Now it's right back to the double. Jones looks his drive, has Powers all over him. Powers gets a hand in and forces the steal. Who has it tapped away from the by Over York. Gets it back. Charles Mitchell slots up from the corner.
Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network as UMass Boston leading it 3-2 after 2. Let's take a look now at the New England Hockey Conference scoreboard. If you look around the NEHC, and Mizey Babson coming right back here, trailing 2-0 at one point. They now lead it 3-2 in the third period. Hobart up over Castleton 3-1, and Norwich and Skidmore tied up at 1 heading to the third. So things have evened out to be a little more normal in the NEHC.
Very interesting because Norwich losing yesterday to Hobart really opened the gate where if Hobart wins, Norwich loses, all of a sudden Hobart gets that 1 seed. And that means a lot. I'll tell you what. Kreitzberg, where Norwich, the Cadets play, is a very tough arena. Their record is outstanding traditionally this year, and I was talking to assistant coach Schneider before the game about this. 5 losses at home sets a program record for Norwich at losses at home for a single season. So they clearly don't have that same type of dominance at home. So there's already some weakness, some holes in the armor there, and you see Hobart trying to do what they can to try and get that 1 seed, which is so important, home ice throughout, especially where Hobart is. It's not really around anything. It's way up there in New York, and a lot of snow. That's a heavy travel. That's an advantage to that team. So be curious to see when this game is all said and done what that out-of-town scoreboard looks like.
Sounds awful. Hobart
it's way up there.
Ugh, it sounds terrible.
Way up there, man. I had a couple teammates that played there, and they enjoyed it. You're forced to be close as a team, and there's not a lot going on, and a lot of snow up that way.
Yeah, never really understood going to school somewhere like out in the middle of nowhere. My friends did it. I went to BC, obviously, so right in the city. Obviously, you went to UMass, so you're quite familiar with it as well. I'd much rather be around things than have to just have 3 places all on campus where you can go.
Yeah, my brother at Trine in Indiana, not a lot going on. Not a lot. But, yeah, hey, to each their own. Wherever you can find, whatever you want to call home and you can have a good 4 years, more power to you.
This has been college selection preferences with Matt Meisenbacher.
Talking college.
And John Scooters. Let's take a look around Beaconville as the Beacon's other athletics clubs, of course, compete this weekend. The women's basketball team got doused by Plymouth State as the Panthers just ate them for lunch. 77-46, the final there. The men's basketball team took care of Plymouth State 76-62. And the track and field squad competing at the LEC Championships today at Rhode Island College. But more importantly, women's hockey beating New England College 5-3. They will get underway in the quarterfinals of the NEHC next week, I believe, against Salve Regina.
Is that right?
That's what the PA announcer announced moments ago as we look ahead to see what's coming on up. The NEHC Conference quarterfinals, as I just said, next Saturday at a time to be announced. The teams are coming on out here for the third period of play. Mr. Meisenbacher, what are the keys for the Beacons to hold on and win this hockey game?
Got to continue to pressure here. You've played well for 2 periods. You've still got the lead. You're at home. It's senior night. You've got to find some guts, some of that grit to really finish the job here. You played very, very well. Continue to pressure. Get pucks deep. No need to be pretty here. Get pucks deep. Pressure this defense. It's worked for you all game. If you're the Huskies, boy, you'll take this. Down 1. You're on the road. You know you've already beaten this team once. You got to continue to get pucks towards the front of the net. They've had success on some of these rushes and obviously on the power play. Continue to get pucks towards that net. Make things a little bit difficult for McBurney, who hasn't had the best rebound control tonight. He's escaped with minimal mistakes, but Huskies team that can really put pressure on the front of the net, maybe get a greasy one late. We're in for one here, 3-2, but these Huskies aren't going to go away. It's going to take a strong effort in this third period if you're the Beacons.
Delosio still out there for the Huskies. He's played well today for UMass Boston. It's Bailey McBurney. We are all set to go. Beacons moving left to right. Shorter changes here in the third period. And moving from right to left, the Huskies, as it's Larkin against Pantalone. And Colin wins the face-off back to Chukrin. Gabe finds Albano. Stretch lob all the way deep, bouncing off the end boards. Cutting it off and getting there first is Kite. Johnny sends it into the corner. Couple aside, fighting for it there. And eventually emerging with it is Pantalone. He can settle things down, go far side, use the end boards to find Kite. And Johnny sends it towards neutral ice where it's gloved down and dumped back from whence it came by Chukrin.
Both teams going to try to establish themselves here early in the third period. Try to get some of that momentum and then build on it. These first 5 minutes are crucial.
Skating forward up into the attacking zone, Gabe. Gabe sets it down right in front. What a pass, they score! Nolan Redler answers the doubters and the harassers on Southern Maine. And just 39 seconds in, a beautiful feed from Chukrin, a gorgeous cut from Nolan, and an absolutely dandy of a goal from Redler. His second of the day, 22nd on the year, and the Beacons lead by 2.
You know, some really smart hockey from Gabe Chukrin there. I just love his ability to see the ice, and you can just see the entire time what he wanted to do with that puck. Enters the zone, makes sure everybody's on side, pulls up maybe at the tops of the circles, and then just floats one backdoor to an undetected Redler who is skating in on the far side, the weak side wing, puts it right on the tape. You know Redler's not going to miss much from there, able to tuck it home. But I'll tell you what, 80% of that was Chukrin. Redler, he's going to score a lot of those goals when you put it right on the tape like that. Chukrin with some great vision, Redler with the finish, 4-2 Beacons, and a huge goal for this team to start the third period.
That was absolutely gorgeous on both fronts. Tucking it to the backhand for Redler, but a beautiful feed is sending that one through the net mouth is Bono. He's got quite a lot of muscle there on that shot. Here's Knackbauer. That one caught either the mask or the shoulder of the netminder Delosio and goes up into the catwalks.
I think definitely one, maybe two key saves there from Delosio, and we've seen this with this Beacons team all year. Their ability to score a goal and then follow it up the shift after with more. You saw there the second line out there with two great scoring opportunities, one from Bono, one from Knackbauer, and now an in-zone draw here. Still going to be pressuring, trying to get this puck towards the front of the net.
Shot sailed wide of the net by Heltz. Near sideboard, Sifferlin down there with Wickline. Knackbauer as well. That shot blocked down. Losing sight of it for a moment there was Lines, but Maverick is able to get it to Murphy, who gets it out of the zone, but the Beacons send it right back in. Delosio settles it down, hands it off to Plord. Murphy uses the sideboards to get it out, and that should be a penalty on UMass Boston. No call, though. Coming back the other way, 2-on-1. Good deke right in front, and then going head first into the boards there was Sanderson as he tried to get it to Maverick Lines.
Beacons escaped with two missed breakdowns there. Once on the trip, we're going to get a whistle here. Once on a trip, and then on the 2-on-1. Definite blown coverage there. Not the type of shift you wanted after such a promising start for that second line, and an offsides call here. But I agree with you, John. Definitely should have been a called trip initially on the end zone, and then on a 2-on-1 breakdown. Didn't miss by much on that crossing pass. Huskies almost made it a one-goal game again.
Chukrin takes the handoff there from Bailey, and then Albano went down, tumbling over Ferreira. Here is McGregor over the red line. Sending it deep is David. Chasing after it is Santapass. He will poke it towards McGregor. Good play. David right in front. That one's sitting on a tee for Riley, but it was blocked down. 4-2 UMass Boston, along with Matt Meisenbacher. I'm John Scudras. Skating forward with it now, Brock Padgham. Padgham uses the boards to get Washington, and then unable to get it deeper was Padgham. He now sends it far side for Washington. Michael behind the net, taken in there by Ferreira. Cuts back the other side, goes back to Washington. Could not settle it down. Puck comes out of play as one of the defenders was changing. From their own zone, D-to-D feed, finding Lines was Kite. Maverick watches Kite get the pass back, and then Kite will send it deep as the Huskies struggle to get it past the forechecking of the Beacons. Albano pirouettes around a forecheck, finds Riley. Riley thought about connecting with Holiday. He gets tripped up, sends it deep, no icing. Delosio uses the corner boards, coming in to keep it in the zone smartly. There was Carter. Spin around a shot, they score! John Regnart from the point. Spins and fires. Not sure if it was deflected in front by Holiday, but nevertheless, the yellow line is gold. It's 5-2 UMass Boston.
Very strange play. Kind of a nothing play there, John. It looked like Regnart was at the end of the shift. I think he was just trying to fire it on net, maybe get a whistle and get a change there. Fired it hard on the low blocker side of Delosio. He might have not gotten a good read. I agree with you. There's a chance it was redirected. We'll have to wait for the announcement. But a nothing play turns into a goal for the Beacons, and now a 5-2 or a 3-goal lead, up 5-2 here in the third period.
They give it to Regnart, and for Johnny, what a bit of a run here since he's been moved to forward.
Amazing.
He's been outstanding. 3 goals after having 0 goals in his career here as a junior.
Boy, found his niche, and we talked about it in the pregame, owning the opportunity, finding a way to stay in the lineup, and now as a forward, boy, I'll tell you what, making a case for the rest of his career. Might want to keep him there. He's got a little bit of a scoring touch now.
Yeah, and he's got the physical touch of a fourth-line centerman as well. It's exactly what you're looking for. He was throwing around his body in the first period. Now he's throwing around goals here in the third. 16 minutes to go. The Beacons, who came into this period up by just 1, have now extended their lead to 3. And we'll see if the Huskies have any magic left in them or if they will lose for the 9th consecutive game. Behind the net, Larkin tried to send it forward for Redler. Helt couldn't keep it in, but Gallagher's going to get there first before Sanderson. Good play. Good play from Gallagher. He stopped on a dime and kept it away from the forward.
Especially for a guy, he's such a thick player. He's really big out there. Plays with such a physical presence, but he's got that quick feet agility you saw there. That's a tricky little play on your skates to be able to do that and have the agility to do so. Looks like Larkin got hauled down there. Could have been a call, but it's a nice play from Gallagher. Quick feet there, as you said, John.
Makarov got it poked away, and that will lead to a whistle offside. So the face-off from neutral ice. 15-10 to go. Third period action. UMass Boston leading at 5-2.
Gigi Braga in the booth, John. Joined us late from the basketball game, coming on over, checking out the hockey game here.
I think you cursed the women's basketball team there.
Oh, man, the way they lost. Oh, boy.
From their own zone, Gallagher trying to get in there in front of the forward. Pantalone cannot. That one shoots right in front into the slot. And then overshooting that one, it was Magliano. And therefore, Nachbauer is able to skate it out and then dump it right back as he's going to probably head to the... No, he's going to stay out there. And skating forward with a Gallagher.
And something to keep in mind here still, again, plenty of time. 14 minutes now. Obviously, Beacons, you're able to get maybe one more, and you kind of put this away. If you're the Huskies, you understand, okay, now we got to start playing the clock game. Probably got to get one soon, try and claw our way back into this game.
Fresh legs for the Huskies. Beacons look to take advantage. Albano over the red line, sends it deep and will chase. He's out there with Nachbauer, also out there Sifferlin and Wickline, as here is Daniel Nachbauer, native of Washington State, loses an edge, able to get it into the corner, and then Sifferlin is taken hard into the boards by Kite. Far side corner, Nachbauer pokes it to the point, sent all the way in by Gabe, and that one snatched out of the air like ripened fruit from Delosio at 14:01.
Yeah, really smart play. It's very subtle, but a really smart play on the wall. I wish if we had a little bit, a little limited on the cameras here. Don't have all our replays, but there's a play on the wall. Washington for the Huskies was trying to make it clear. Knockbauer was just a quick stick lift, and he actually poked the puck up to his defenseman, able to get that shot on goal and create the end zone draw rather than have an icing come all the way down. It would have been a face-off down the other end anyway, but just those little subtleties really kind of show you that these players continue to evolve, continue to learn. That's a play that Knockbauer, might not make a year ago, and a nice little subtle play there.
Sometimes it's the little things, as that one is sent deep into the Beacon zone by Padgham. Albano with it, hands it off into the slot for the Beacons to move forward. That was McGregor. Santapass backhands it deep into the zone. Delosio cuts him off. Santapass backhands it back now against the end boards. Poked at by McGregor, still loose. Santapass finding David. David taken on by 2 Huskies. Just eating some clock there into the corner. And eventually the Huskies do emerge with it, and skating forward is Dundas.
Yeah, and you see, okay, that's going to be an icing, but as I was just about to say, John, you got to watch if you're really the forwards, but definitely the D. The Huskies are going to try to spring some forwards here. They're going to try to get guys on the change and try to launch guys from the zone, try to connect on one of those home run passes. It's really something that at this stage in the game you do need. You got to take some of those risky passes. You saw there it ends up being icing. Now you've got a defensive draw for the Huskies, but you got to be aware if you're a Beacon's defenseman for those forwards trying to creep in behind you.
Behind the net now, UMass Boston trying to build on it. Is now a 3-goal lead with 13 minutes to go in regulation time. This game is a nail-biter throughout much of it. Beacon's got the first goal of the game, but the Huskies answered back after they trailed, in fact, 2-0. They got a short-handed goal to make it 2-1 after one. It was 3-2 after two. Beacons have added 2 more. It's now 5-2 UMass Boston. From the corner, yellow line out there. Regnard finds Holiday. Beacons 2-on-3 moving into the attacking zone. Bono joins them to make it even. And then Holiday was hooked up a little bit, and therefore that allowed the puck to be dislodged and taken over by the Huskies. Is moving forward with it now, Connor Ferreira. Ferreira backhander, cut off there by Carter. He was trying to stretch it for Larkin fresh off the bench, but instead it's icing on the Beacons.
Yeah, just a little bit of a miscue there on the passing option, and this will come all the way down.
5-2 UMass Boston, 12:16 to go. Beacons trying to win their 16th game of the year. They're 11th in the NEHC. They're already cemented into the 4 seed in the conference tournament. But any momentum you can carry with you is big. The Beacons looking to win 2 in a row in the NEHC to finish it off here in the final weekend. Good connection here for Holiday. Finds Bross. Holiday hits the bench for Redler. Bross somehow gets around the defense. Goes to Larkin down low. Deflected. And a good save made by the netminder as Delosio covers the 12:01. And more action as Redler was hit again after the whistle.
Let's see if they're going to call it. Yeah, and again, you've seen it all day. They've been targeting Redler, and I don't think Belak's going to call. I think he's going to think that Redler embellished that a little bit. But they've really been all over him today. Huskies have absolutely pinpointed Redler as a target today, and you can see there another extra shot after the whistle. I give him credit. You know, you've got to find a way to bury it for another 12 minutes here. Best way to stick it to him if I'm Redler is score one more and give yourself a hat trick.
Absolutely. Almost had a chance there. Diving at it. Another chance here. Nolan, a shot, and that one is wide on the far side. As Larkin can't get you up to it, Nolan puts a little bit of a hit there into the back of Padgham. Evan Helt backhanded towards Larkin. Couldn't settle it down. And now moving the other way with possession here is Magliano. Magliano gets a shot away. Brown Gallagher. Good save by McBurney. We have not had to mention a whole lot here in the second half of this game.
No, which is good. You know, what you want to see from the Beacons is really making it easy on your goaltender here. You're up 3. You don't need him coming up with any crazy saves here. Anything from distance you'll allow by the referees. See what they're talking about, probably where they're going to put this face-off.
And they will give it to the Beacons in the attacking zone.
Let's see what we got here. Again, more conferencing from the referees. It looks like the 2 refs are going to get together here, Belak and Shepley, not including the linesman this time. I think it's coming back outside the zone. So a little bit of a conference there, and we'll bring this to center ice, which typically means it was some sort of mistake from the refereeing crew. They'll put it at center ice so that neither team is at a disadvantage.
Face-off won by the Huskies. Murphy gets it back to his blue line. Here's Kite. Kite finds lines. Maverick sends it deep, but cut off by Chukrin. Trying to find the cutting Wick line, but it hit Knackbauer, and now coming back the other way, and then a big hit from Gabe Chukrin in center ice against Parker Sanderson.
And then he hit him again. 2 in the same shift, almost one after another.
What a hit there from Gabe Chukrin as he shows he can get it done, but we do actually have a penalty on Gabe.
Let's see what we got here. Yeah, penalty. You know what? And I'm going to take a shot and understand. I think this is Chukrin standing up for his teammate, and I absolutely love this, folks. I love this. It's good. Well, it's going to be on the Huskies, but you know what? I think.
Oh, wow.
So I think what ends up happening here, you got Chukrin, who's we talked about it earlier in the game. You know, he recognizes that they're targeting his teammate Redler. And I took a couple hits there, made 2 hits there, and I think he had an exchange with Murphy. I thought maybe the referees were going to take both. Instead, they just take Murphy, which is great for the Beacons. But love the pride and the captaincy from Chukrin there to understand, hey, I'm standing up for my guy here. Redler's been taking hits all night, and he's the type of guy. Chukrin doesn't have to take anything from anybody. He's one of the bigger guys on the team. But just love to see that. And ends up best case scenario. He's got his team on the power play now.
That was Brendan Murphy, number 77, the only player on this roster with a number higher than 33, and he chose 77.
33, my number, John.
Look at that. I think that was my number, Pee Wee football, 33.
Okay. It's a great number.
Yeah, I preferred 5. Nick Albano's number is my lucky number.
Well, I was always 35. Unfortunately, it wasn't available, so I had to go with 33, and one of the better baseball players on the team wears 33, working our camera tonight. Oh, a chance there.
Poked away, almost an opportunity. Beacons right now leading by 3, a power play, 2 minutes for slashing on Murphy, and that was probably retaliatory from the Chuckern hit.
Well, you can really put the Huskies away here. You're able to score here. Beacons know it. You can put this team away.
And they do! Colin Larkin gets it on Larkin Day. On the traditional shot from Albano, and the Beacons lead it by 4.
Yeah, you could just feel it. Beacons knew they score here, effectively win this hockey game, and you saw Larkin, a shot from the point, got a little bit redirected. There was a puck loose in front, and very fitting that Colin Larkin would be the one to really ice this game and put the Beacons up by 4 here with 9:52 left to play in the period. But always good to see him add to his numbers and add a goal to his statistical category today, his first of the day.
Yellow line out there. Beacons lead by 4 as they have just run roughshod around the Huskies here in the third period. 3 unanswered here in the final frame, and they lead it 6-2. As with possession, Beacons poke it forward. We'll see if Dakota can flash that speed, and Makarov did a good job cutting him off.
Yeah, really good angle there by the forward Makarov to enable block Keene from going any further.
Bono setting it through the slot, taken in from the corner by Keene, handing it off towards Holiday, but intercepted by Kite. And now all the way back behind the net where Washington will get there first. Michael backhands it behind the net, take it in now by Lines. 9 minutes to go, third period action. Beacons continuing to possess the puck and maintain pressure despite a 4-goal lead, as losing the puck there was Kite. And now on the far side, it's Pantalone who dumps it deep.
Great effort by the linesman there. A little bit of hop in his step. You see the bench talking to him. They like to see it too. You saw it was jumping right over that puck there. Had to be quick.
Sent all the way back into the Beacon zone on a play made out there by Pantalone. And Gallagher lifts it over Pantalone's stick all the way out of the Beacon zone, where it's sent all the way back in from whence it came by Plord.
I used to love mixing it up with the lines when you see Santa Pass there talking to him, having a little bit of an exchange. Used to love, hey, refs are out there on the ice, having, doing their job. You can make it a little bit fun. You see it at the upper levels. Always good to see.
Sifferlin absorbing the hit behind the net there, as Wickline pokes it towards Seiler, right back to Cody. Try to get to the point. He does. Helt keeps it in, sends it back all the way as it caroms around to be taken by Sifferlin. His backhander knocked down. Takes a shot deflected. Rebound is loose. Still loose on the near side. And the puck eventually is covered by Delosio, but this second line continuing to put a lot of pressure on the young netminder.
Yeah, you saw right on the doorstep there. That puck was bouncing. That puck was loose, and just a great shift. Sifferlin, really great effort in front there, and Knockbauer with his speed. Wickline we've seen around the puck. He's got a goal today, and a really good, solid effort from this second line. A lot of credit and a lot of credit is due to that top line and what they're able to do offensively, but I think the second line has looked great today. Really like what I've seen really from all 4 lines.
7:40 to go as that one almost found its way into the back of the net off of one of the defenders for Southern Maine. From his own zone, Albano uses the glass to send it deep. Gloved down by Dundas. Dundas connecting there with Papanayo. Papanayo offside
yeah.
As getting ahead of him was Tomaszek.
Yeah, it's always tough. You make that extra move at the blue line, try to give yourself some more space. More times than not, you're going to end up offsides. And you saw there, Huskies, so one move too many. Face-off will come outside. Really just a matter of clockwork at this time. 4-goal deficit. I don't see the Beacons relinquishing any type of lead here. They played solid all day. It's not nothing against the Huskies, but just a little bit outmatched today, and I think a Beacons team that'll be happy to just work this puck into the offensive zone and burn some clock to get the W.
Somehow, some way, able to get that puck there with all the muscle was Pantalone. got a shot away, but high and wide.
He's still giving it effort, and that's, hey, listen, you're here, you play till the final whistle. If you're the Huskies, continue to pressure. You never know what might happen.
Made their way all the way down here from Maine, so they might as well play the full 60.
Exactly.
As that one deflected at center ice, still sitting on a tee, taken by Sanapass. Garrison takes the shot right into the glove of the netminder Delosio, and a whistle with 6:51 to go.
And, the beauty of it with 7 minutes to play here, you can really start to rest this top line. And as I say that, Coach Blyle puts him out there. But, you really, if I'm the coach, I'm letting my second, my third, my fourth line take the majority of minutes here. There's really, you never know what might happen, and God forbid there's any type of injury to one of these key players. Give them the extra rest here. Allow some of those other guys to see more minutes than they normally would. You walk out of here with a W, and you move on to the conference tournament.
From his own zone, Bartuccio Pereira breaks out and connects there before it's dumped all the way down by Papanayo. From his own zone, Gallagher lets the man hit him, and that allows Bross to take possession. Zach peels back into his own zone. 6:20 to go, third period of play. Cut off at the red line by Makarov, but he got his pocket picked by Larkin.
Might be trying to get Redler an option here. He's got 2 today, and with the abuse he's taken, I think his teammates are probably going to try and get him the puck. Maybe 1-2 more scoring opportunities, try to get that hat trick.
Nolan has the 2 goals. Colin has a goal and 2 assists. As the Beacons lead it by 4. Helt pounds it deep. Bross will get there first. As the Beacons see this one, however, taken away and moved out of their own zone. 3-on-2, in fact. Padgham, as the shot is blocked down. Washington fisted away by Bross. Wow.
Yes, and, it's something, and every time I watch him, he continues to improve and understand the speed at which this game is played even more than junior. But, he does everything. He reminds me of like a Patrice Bergeron, but with the hitting aspect. Just does everything well. Defends well, has the scoring touch, has the hands, the speed, the physical presence. I mean, there's really not something that I can pinpoint in his game that needs a ton of improvement. He's going to have some big shoes to fill now that Larkin is close to graduating. But, boy, him and Redler really are poised for some success with this UMass Boston club here. They really have done a good job in their freshman and sophomore years alike.
Here comes Dakota Keene all the way in, dumping it into the corner. Holiday gets there first. Less than 5 minutes to go. Beacons up by 4. Holiday puts it on a tee for Gabe Chukrin, but that one off the leg of Murphy and wide.
Had he not been a lefty, I think a righty there, he's able to step in, take a one-timer there. Being a lefty, he had to curl it and get his weight behind it before releasing it. Took too much time, got it blocked.
Be interesting to see who's going to be as Albano gets over the blue line. What a pass in front! Oh, great save by Delosio on Sifferlin, who had a breakaway.
What a pass. Oh, man. Didn't think he had any room to get that through. Sifferlin, a little bit of a move, and Delosio with a great breakaway save.
It's another freshman to keep an eye on over the next couple of years, Nick Albano, from day one.
No doubt about it. He's been great in terms of his offense, and very rarely, a lot of times those offensive guys will sacrifice a little bit of the defensive play to get some more opportunities, but you saw very rarely does Albano find himself out of position, knows exactly when to join the rush, and you can see there has the skill set to really be an offensive presence for this team, and top 5 in points as a freshman, as a freshman defenseman.
I was going to say, before that great scoring chance from Sifferlin created by Albano, it's going to be interesting to see who might be the anchor in the center position between Bross and Redler next year. There's a lot of candidates, a lot of players like McGregor and Knackbauer have shown offensive glimpses, but none of those players are Colin Larkin. So it could be a freshman maybe, who knows, or a transfer perhaps. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do there.
Oh, no question. And, history has told me Coach Blyle will recruit specifically for that. So he will try to see what his options are out there for a center. There's a little bit of a turnover there, but he will recruit to see, based on the guys he has at center here, and then is there anybody out there that I can recruit and bring in that has a nice skill set that complements these guys, but very, very tough, almost impossible to replace a guy like Colin Larkin. You just try to do the best you can.
Coming all the way in, the Huskies. There's a shot saved by McBurney. Shot taken out there by Ferreira. Beacons coming the other way, Riley, and he was going to be offsides. Who knows, maybe Johnny Regnar.
Yeah, hey, the way he's playing. And the thing, too, is you can't just, a lot of players will say, well, just take your top center and put him in that line. Well, doesn't always work that way. Line combinations, it's funny, they can be a finicky thing, and certain guys, just the way they play the game, don't necessarily mesh well. You've got to find a guy that kind of complements it, and fortunately for Coach Bile, his top 3 forwards all found a way to make it work, but that's not always the case, and don't be surprised either. There's always the option to split those guys up. No guarantee that Bross and Redler are on the same line next year either.
Here's a chance. Murphy sends it in front, but Santapass got his stick in the passing lane and just deflected it right to Bailey McBurney with 2:18 to go. Yeah, like you said, we've even seen David McGregor line with them a couple of times earlier this month when the Beacons were struggling.
Yep,
they moved Larkin down.
Interesting to see, but still, hopefully, you hope that plenty more games here for this Beacon squad as it stands today. I know the regular season will end in the next 2 minutes here, and obviously going to conference play thereafter, but still some hope. The problem with some of these losses, they've kind of taken away any chance at an at-large bid. They've fallen out of the polling altogether, or as high as 5, I believe, at one point this year. So they've kind of sacrificed a little bit of that. Now the only ticket in is to win, or at the very least make it to the conference finals. So we'll have to see. They're going to need a few more wins as Larkin's going to put his second home.
He did.
Shot from Helt all the way through. He'll get an assist on that. Larkin with his second.
The most unexciting goal that I've had all year calling. I'm just like, Larkin scored again. They're up 7-2.
You could kind of feel it. He's in front there, totally undetected.
That's now 4 points for Colin.
Big night. He's, again, putting those point totals up there, and another goal for him. He might be trying to take the MVP award away from Redler. Redler, who we talked yesterday, refuses to give me a post-game interview. I got to talk to him. I understand there's some history with some interviews he's given. Not a big fan of that type of stuff.
We're very friendly, especially you. You're very you give the layups. How you doing on the NHL 18, guys? Like, you give them some real layups.
Yeah, well, Redler continues to decline, so Larkin making a case where maybe we bring him up being the senior, but we'll have to see on our post game who the player of the game is going to be.
See if Dakota Keene can get some votes. He gets cut off there, and with 77 seconds to go, the Beacons well on their way to another victory, their 16th of the year, as they will move to 11-7 in the NEHC. Likewise, Southern Maine concludes their regular season 3-18, 3-12 in the conference.
Lot of a big bright future here for this Huskies team as McBurney will make that save and hold on, but it's a very young team, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores here. They're a little bit of a rebuild, and they've had some good wins this year. Despite what their record shows, more games than not, they're in it. And they really battle. They play well. This is a team that over the course of the next maybe year or two is going to be a force. They've got some underclassmen here that are pretty talented, just need to adjust a little bit to the speed of this game, as that's a tricky shot and saved by McBurney. I'm sure he's a little bit displeased here, having to make a tough stop like that late in the game. But
that's one of those underclassmen. Brendan Murphy leads the team with 12 points this year.
Yeah, this Huskies team will be a force in years to come. They've been a little bit down this year, but they've got some talent, and they continue to improve each game.
And one thing that you've seen here in the latter portions of the year is that shot is saved by McBurney, kicked away to Evan Helt. They've been using a lot of those younger guys, a lot of seniors. Sam Patella, whose father we spoke to.
Yep.
John Waghorn not in the lineup. Cody Braga, I'm not sure, probably not related to Gigi.
I don't think so.
But Cody Braga, one of the upperclassmen, not playing. So this is a squad who has a lot of players who they are deciding just to take a look at, some younger guys. And they kept this one close through 40 minutes. I mean, going into this third period, I was talking about perhaps a Southern Maine victory.
I wasn't going to bring it up, John.
Thank you.
I was going to let you slide on that, your prediction there.
I had to bring it up myself. That's just being honest, being a good person here. Just say I did think Southern Maine might come back, but the Beacons, well, they put the stick in their spokes in the final 20. The final score, the UMass Boston Beacons conclude the 2017-18 regular season with a victory. They win it 7-2 over the Huskies of Southern Maine. It was a back-and-forth roller coaster ride the first two periods. The Beacons scoring 4 unanswered here in the third and winning it. And on Colin Larkin Day, senior day, the only senior on this roster, he certainly lived up to it. 2 goals and 2 assists.
Great effort in this third period. Understanding the situation of where you're at in this hockey game, a Huskies team that really earned earn their way every step of the game. Don't forget, folks, 3-2. If you tuned in late, it's a 3-2 lead for the Beacons going into the third period. Don't let the score take anything away from that. This Huskies team played very well. They battled hard, just didn't have enough left in the third period. And a Beacons team that really, again, understanding the situation, knowing that with a couple goals you can really turn this into a point night. They did. They're going to walk out of here with a 7-2 win and a well-deserved 4-point weekend for the boys in white.
UMass Boston winning it by the score of 7-2 as they are on their way to the New England Hockey Conference Tournament as the 4th seed. We are going to pause for just a minute or two before we get you the final stats, as well as an interview with Coach Peter Belisle, as well as our player to game. Again, the final score, UMass Boston 7, Southern Maine 2. Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. John Scooge with the Matt Meisenbach. We'll have Coach Blisle with us in a moment. Are we doing Colin Larkin for an interview tonight, you think?
I'm thinking, yeah. Senior day, his day.
It would make sense.
I'll tell you what, I would have had to give it to somebody else. He had the 2 goals late. If he doesn't score those 2 goals, it might be forced, but he ended up having a 4-point night. 2 Genos. Got to give it to him.
Genos. You look here at the finals team statistics on your screen right now. UMass Boston, 44 shots to 24 over Southern Maine. The power play 2 for 4. Not a lot of penalties were called in this game, but the Beacons were able to take advantage of it, even if they did give up a shorty. Right now, though, you look here at the statistics. For UMass Boston, they put a lot of shots on goal. Delosio played well, but in the end, the third period, I think the pressure began to build up, and it was just too much.
Well, yeah, and we talked a little bit about going into the third period, what that was going to look like. The Huskies knew they would probably have to keep it at 3 if they had a chance to win this hockey game. They needed to get one, keep it close, and then try to get one late, maybe force an overtime, or if they could get 2, sneak out with a win. Once the Beacons came in on that first goal, we talked about the first 5 minutes, how important it was. They were able to get one and then really kind of compounded on it, and that's what was kind of brewing all game. We saw every time that they scored, there was like this compound factor in terms of momentum and confidence that they were having, and ended up walking out of here with a 7-2 win. Delosio played very well. So did McBurney. McBurney walks out of here with 20 stops on the night, 22 shots on goal. But, yeah, in terms of what the Beacons were able to do in that third period, as my counterpart leaves, forgets that we're on camera today, so we're not on. All right. But yeah, no, I think they did a really fantastic job in that third period. Beacons really took it to them, and were able to walk out of here with a big victory.
Absolutely. Right now, UMass Boston, 16 wins. They're the 4 seed, probably play New England College.
More than likely, yeah.
And on their way to the NEHC Tournament. New England College, a team Beacons very familiar with. They just played them. And so they came out with a 4-2 victory in that game, but it was a hard-fought victory, and I think that is likely what we'll see come next week.
Yeah, the interesting thing, it's been kind of brewing all year. There's been this underlying rivalry between those 2 programs, and an NEC team that is coming here. Beacons won yesterday, but it was on a fluke. It was on a bounce. Those that watched, the puck had no business going in. Next thing you know, you've got a lead. You had an empty net. A game, there was a breakaway right before the Beacons scored that could have easily gone in. We'd be singing a different song right now. So, if that does end up working out, that's going to be a heck of a playoff game. But again, I think the big key there is it's at this rink, the Edward T. Berry versus up at New England College.
Absolutely. UMass Boston winning this one by the final score of 7-2, 44 shots to 24. We now are on camera.
Okay, there we go, yeah. Seeing those ugly mugs. I think we got Coach Blisle, too, making his way over here.
Best-looking broadcasting team in the business. We take a quick look at our 3 stars of the game before we get Coach here on camera.
3 stars? Oh.
As Coach Blisle makes his way up into the broadcasting booth. And, Coach, what a victory, 7-2. Heading into the third period, it looked like this game could go either way. You guys really took it to them late there. What did you like from what you saw for your boys here in Senior Day?
Well, we wanted to get a good, complete game, and I thought we played 3 pretty good periods. Yesterday I didn't think we played 3 good periods. I thought our third was the best, but I thought we played 3 pretty consistent periods. Obviously, the puck went in the net for us a bit more in the third, but it was we need that going in the playoffs. Just feeling better about our game. So it was a good weekend. As you know, we were kind of in a little bit of a slump there, and to turn it around right before playoffs is big.
You certainly did, getting these 2 conference wins against foes, especially NEC, that you're likely to see coming up here shortly. Now, today was a big day for your team in this program. Colin Larkin, his final regular season game. What a 4 years he's had. One of the best players to ever grace a Beacons uniform. Talk a little bit about the performance Colin had today and over the 4 years here on Beaconville.
Yeah, it's so apropos for him to, get a couple tonight at the end, and he's such a big part of our team. When he goes, we go. And I was joking with Seth yesterday. You need a full page to write all the accolades about this player. And he's even a better person, a better leader. He's a great hockey player, and the scouts in the building every night for him. And I think he's one of the best I've ever coached, hands down.
And you might not have an answer for this just yet, but we were talking about it during the third period once the game got out of reach. Is with Colin moving on, you still have a couple of great wingers who have lined with him all day in Bross and Redler. Are you going to look internally to maybe fill that center role between those two, or do you have your eyes on a couple of freshmen who might be able to come in and take the 1C role right from the start?
Yeah, next year will be, depending on what we get and who we land, then you got to kind of put that puzzle together. So I think we have it internally. The short answer to that question is, yeah, I think there's some guys that could definitely play with those two kids on our team, no question. If we find it's going to be pretty darn tough to find a freshman that has the impact that a Colin Larkin has.
Absolutely.
But next year we'll just have to put the puzzle together. But we know that we have some good pieces coming back, which is great.
Absolutely. You've also dipped into the transfer region a lot, and that's worked out in the past. So who knows what might happen come 2018-19. Now, one of those players I just mentioned, Nolan Redler, what a day again for him. 2 goals and assists. Also got a late penalty in that second period that cost you guys a goal. I'm wondering, was that just a build-up of frustration? Because he was getting taken down a lot after plays, and no whistles were coming.
Yeah, we got to talk to him about that. We did, and he's getting, beat up pretty good out there. They know he's one of our go-to goal scorers, so they're going to give him the extra one. He's got to learn to kind of control that, and he did a pretty good job. He lost his cool there, obviously, and I let him know about it in between periods, and he responds with a big goal.
Yep.
It's a different hockey game. If we don't get that one early, 4-2, it's a different hockey game. So he found a way to bury that. And just move forward, and I thought he had a great third.
The second line was outstanding today as well. Nackbauer, Wickline, and Sifferlin. A lot of scoring chances and a goal on a 2-on-1 early in the game. Have to like what you've seen from them as they have developed that chemistry over the last couple of months.
Oh, definitely. We've been preaching that. I thought yesterday it worked for us, putting pucks to the net and rebound goals. And in playoff hockey, that's what you're going to need. And it was nice that those guys did a really nice 2-on-1. They shot it for a rebound, and it was there.
Absolutely. Last one for you, Coach. We'll let you go and celebrate this big victory to end the season. John Regnart was a guy who came in here out of Anchorage, Alaska. Blue liner his first couple of years, had no goals through a couple of years. Now here he is getting his third goal in just a couple of weeks as a centerman. Are you anticipating this might be a full-time change for him moving forward?
I think so. I mean, gosh, his game-to-goal ratio is probably better than Colin Larkin's.
Right.
It's incredible. His compete level's so high, and what you want from a fourth line is a high compete level, energy, and that's what they're bringing. And when you got Holiday who flies, and Keane that flies, and Regnart that just plays so tough and block shots, and he's got a great shot. So it's really just developed into a nice line, and he's winning a ton of face-offs.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's probably, I was saying it on the bench, he's probably our best face-off man, as a former defenseman.
Yeah,
so,
5 and 6, not bad for a guy who had not played center, and we talked to him since he was 12 years old coming into this season.
Yeah, just a credit to him. He even said to me, he said, "Coach, I'll play goalie. I just want to play," and that's the type of kid he is. And just really happy for him, and obviously happy for our team that I think we found something there.
Absolutely. That yellow line outstanding today and over the last couple of weeks as the Beacons win it 7-2. Matt Meisenbacher, I believe he has Colin Larkin down there. It's Colin Larkin Day here on Beaconville as he scores 2 goals in his final home game. We'll have him in just a moment. For Peter Belisle, I'm John Skudras. We'll be back here on the BBN.
Thanks, John.
We're back on the post-game report. Obviously, the man, the myth, the legend, Colin Larkin. Colin Larkin day. It wasn't really senior day. It's just kind of your day being like the only guy. Was that a little weird?
Yeah, it was a little weird. I mean, it was my day. I told the guys it was my day. I mean, there was nobody else. It was a quick senior ceremony, but it was nice, and the guys gave a heck of an effort tonight, and it was really nice for me to get a win on senior night, and I'll remember that for a long time.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, we were talking just off air, a 3-2 game going into the third period. It started getting a little nervous, a little bit reminiscent of a couple weeks ago where they were able to sneak one out of here. Going into the third period, you guys were dominating the game, but just couldn't really, you had the 1-goal lead. What was the mentality going into the third period? Just more of the same?
Yeah, more of the same. They hang around. They always do a good job just hanging around and keeping the game tight, and then, they'll try and win it at the end. We just wanted to keep playing fast, get pucks to the net in the third, and I mean that goal to start the third with 40 seconds into the game, third period was huge for us by Redler. So, that was a good start to the period, and then we carried it on. I think Regs had a big goal, so it was good, timely goals tonight.
It seemed from our vantage point they were really going after Redler today. A lot of extra shots after the whistle, and he took. I know he took the one penalty, but you guys, was there any calming down? It seemed like he was getting frustrated, well deserved, right? I mean, they were clearly going after him. Were you guys talking to him, trying to keep him corralled? I mean, they were clearly picking on him tonight.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. He took about 5 or 6 shots in the first period alone, and 2 of them got called, and we just tried to say, hey, keep your head. And it's frustrating for anyone to get picked on like that, and they're taking runs at you. So, but no, he did a good job. He kept his head, and he drew penalties for us. I think we scored on a couple of those power plays, and he did retaliate one time and got a guy in the crease in the second. But I think that cooled him down a little bit, and then as the game wore on, I think it got tighter, and they were kind of laying off him a little bit.
A guy like you, let's take a look real quick at your career here now that the regular season's over. We got conference play. A guy who points wise, it's been well documented. You're going to go down as one of the most prolific scorers in program history. What have you done to maintain consistency? Really, just from the moment you stepped on the ice as a freshman, you hold the record. I don't know if you're aware of this. You hold the record for games played as any player, 109. After tonight, you're the record holder for that. I mean, staying healthy, staying on the ice, continue to put points on the board. What was the secret behind just having such a strong career for the Beacons and being that leader, each and every year?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a recipe for it, or it's just, I worked hard in the off seasons to prepare myself and, prevent injuries, and that's how I was able to. I haven't missed a game in any regular season game in my career here, and that's that's a credit to myself, I think, and that's pretty cool for me to do. I enjoy that one, and I think just going out and playing, it's hockey. I have the opportunities. I've been put in a role to succeed, and I've taken advantage of that. But I've played with some great line mates through the 4 years here. I mean, you look at Matt Lemire and Peter McIntyre, Nolan Redler, Zach Bross. I mean, guys that can really put the puck in the net, and you get it to them, and they're creative offensively, and it's really it's kind of easy when you're playing with guys like that on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah, there's no question about it. So we'll get you out of here on this. Going into the playoffs now, conference play. It's looking like more than likely going to be NEC again. I think there's probably still some games going on where, chips fall a certain way. It might not be the Pilgrims, but a team now, you're going to face them. You faced them 3 times. You're going to face them a 4th time in the same year. And obviously the way the last game went, right, it came down to like a final bounce. So what's the preparation going to be like going into a team that you know very, very well, and obviously going to have the home ice, a little bit of an advantage there, but a team that's already beaten you once at home, and it was such a close game, yesterday. What's going to be the mentality for this week of practice?
Yeah, it will definitely be playing NEC, and it's in my 4 years here, I don't think it's ever not been a 1 or 2 goal game with that team, and it's always tight. They can play, they can put the puck in the net, and I think our focus for the playoffs is, it's a new season, and we want to play 60 minutes. We have to play hard, good hockey for 60 minutes, and if we're doing that, we're doing the right things. I think we can beat any team in the country, and we got to start with NEC. I mean, it's a one game elimination from here on out, and there's no second chances in the playoffs.
No question. Well, Colin, it was a pleasure watching you for 4 years. I hope we've got plenty more games to watch your talents wearing the Beacons uniform, and we look forward to seeing what you do in your post-collegiate career. But thanks for doing this with us here.
Yeah, thanks, Mizey.
Absolutely. We'll be back right after this. on the post game? You want to?
That's what we're doing. Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. John Scooters and Matt Meisenbacher. Nice conversation with Colin. As Matt, the Beacons wrap up his regular season career with a 7-2 victory. Any final thoughts here before we wrap this one up as a bow, as you see there, the Beacons starting in the NEHC quarters next week?
Well, I have a whole speech planned out right now, but Alyssa's got me looking at me like, you better wrap this up. I got to get out of here. I got some things to do. So I'll just leave it with this. I think the Beacons have done the best they can. It was not the second half that they had probably wished for. A couple, too many losses in that L column, but a team that's headed in the right direction. 2 wins here this weekend, and now going to conference play against an NEC team. They should be well prepared going in, got a little bit of momentum. Very excited to see what they can do next Saturday.
Yeah, Norwich, who came in to play as the top team, ended up holding on by the skin of their chinny chin chin. They tied Skidmore College, who came in 4-12 in the conference, and therefore only win the conference by 1 point over Hobart. So
Amazing.
Anything
so
can happen.
Yep.
Anything
so
can happen.
Close. Everyone counts in this
And
conference.
that game was at Norwich, so
yeah,
anything can happen in the NEHC. I want to thank our broadcast network crew, our producer Seth Orensky, our director Alyssa Fugel, Kyle Penny on camera, and for my partner in crime, Matt Meisenbacher. We're a little ahead of ourselves last week, saying we wouldn't broadcast again this year. Now, well, for the Beacons at least, it looks like this is goodbye.
True end. We had a little bit of a PS tonight. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. And, John, yeah, absolutely. Always a pleasure doing it with you.
Absolutely, Mr. Meisenbacher. For everyone else involved and for you at home, good night, good luck, and good hockey. We'll see you next time right here on